ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Every day is garbage day, but today's going to be a day of lots of little videos. There isn't going to be a main theme. So, I wasn't sure what to name it, and I don't really care to be changing the title constantly. Doesn't matter too much, Ladies and gents. Queeman, though, we are gonna look at the Queeman video. I've been told it's good. Alright. Such a loser for not having the garbage day clip ready? I don't even know what the fuck that is, so I guess I'm a giga loser. I don't even know what that is. What is the garbage day clip? I'm sad to learn that Queeman's a pedophile. Unfortunate. But, you know, anyone who represents themselves with a little dancing cartoon, as we've learned, it's, you know, it's always the case. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. No. Let's peep it then. I've got so much music in my head. Alright.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
Nah, the can would have protected him. It would have functioned as armor. He'd be fine. The crazy thing is, that guy isn't acting. We know from seeing so many Dementoid YouTube channels that there are people who are just like that. There are people just like that, and he was just filmed being himself. He actually just showed up and shot that guy. For real. Oh. Oh no. I didn't bring the tissue upstairs. Oh no. I'll just, like, blow my nose onto the camera. It's fine. It'll all be alright. Alright. Now, oftentimes, clips, videos, they'll show up in your recommended in YouTube. They'll show up in someone else's recommended on YouTube. They'll take a little screenshot and it will go wild on Twitter just from the screenshot, alright? Or someone will post a little clip of the video. It'll bring some attention to the clip, but most people will just make assumptions. One such video is this. I got graped by a guy with Down syndrome who lied to me and said he was gay and he worked at Wendy's. This was popping off on Twitter, and I thought I needed to check it out. It would be remiss of me to not investigate. Now, important context. Look at these titles. He tried paying me $300 to step on him with platforms. What really happened to me in Oklahoma? Don't trust a man on a bike at 7 p.m. Immediately, the impression is that people fell for a bait channel that simply makes videos like this to get attention. My presumption is that this is not a genuine Dementoid, but rather a Dementoid skinwalker. Kneecapping myself with having such a boring stream title? And to fix that, you want me to put Queeman in the title? I've never watched Queeman except for the Brianna Wu thing. But people keep saying he's boring, so... Oh. Give you trigger warnings before making her large on screen? I think she's just unavoidably large. It can't be stopped. Alright. 9 minutes.
This happened
This is today's warm-up.
almost 2 years ago. Is it my fault? No. It's not my fucking fault. Because I was lied to, and I believed it, right? Anyway.
Right. The tiniest sip. The tiniest little... Immediately, it is an attention seeker, but they are probably also demented. Probably also demented. This seems real. Not that the story will be real, but it's a crazy person trying to do attention seeking on YouTube.
By the title, whatever. So I was not best friends with this guy. In fact, I don't know, I felt like something was off, but I thought I was just like making shit up and like being delusional. But this man told me that he was gay, right? And he also worked at a Wendy's and had Down syndrome. That's going to be important later.
Did he just tell her that he had Down syndrome? Is that something that is true or another lie? He didn't have Down syndrome. He was just from Mongolia.
Right? And so this one day, the new Ariel movie came out, and I was like, oh my god, I need to see this. Mind you, it was 2023.
Ariel movie? Little Mermaid?
It was like May 29th, that exact day when I got raped. Anyways, so the new Ariel movie came out, and
the exact day of my rape.
I was asking my mom if she can go with me. She's like, no. And I was like, can I go by myself? She's like, no, that's a waste of money. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. She's like, find a friend to go with. And I said, okay.
Oh, no.
So then I found a friend to go with, and I was like, may I have money to go to the movies now? And she was...
This feels like drugs. Beyond normal YouTube Dementoid, this now feels like drugs.
Like, yeah, sure. So this man comes to my house, and he doesn't come inside because I tell him I don't want him.
Preferable in cases of sexual assault that they don't.
I'm inside the house, and we're walking to the mall. The mall is not that far from my house, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to hold hands?" And I thought this faggot was joking, so I was like, "No, no,
I was not ready."
No. And then he asked me again, and I said no, right? And I was really trying to convince myself that this faggot was joking about it.
Chill. Okay, maybe... Look, I disavow. I wasn't aware of how heavy this video would be, okay? Alright? This video is probably not Twitch safe. At this point, the other video with the gay person saying that word, regarding other people calling them that, that's probably okay. This... but also... Trying too hard. Ooh. Your 10-year-old cousins are watching my stream? You're abusing them then. Oh my god. Right. You guys know card posting, right? A long-time community organizer and activist. An Australian anarchist. He makes the Dog Whistle 101 series. He explains secret code words that the right uses online. He decided, as of 2025, he's a drama lord now. He's going to be taking shots at people. He took a shot at... Who did he take a shot at? Cornman. The guy who's like a corn cob. Whatever. Shit. Jake. Is he called actual Jake? Whatever. The corncob Jake man. He has now taken another shot. And, the thumbnail is very intense. Queeman's got some weird takes about Loli, doesn't he? Nonce? Question mark? With a red Nux Taku in the background. Card Posting was not kidding when he said he was going to start doing drama content and attacks. Let's see how it goes. The only Queeman I've seen is when he talked to Brianna Wu. That's literally it. So I'm not familiar with his enjoyment of Loli.
Hello there, my name's Card.
Oh, we gotta crank it.
I like to make simple little videos about things that cross my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I've been trying to get more into YouTube drama and trying to develop an appreciation.
Trying to develop an appreciation. Oof. Look, it's just human nature, okay? Australia's got maths, Australian maths. Just watch that. Watch some reality TV shows. Understand those. And then realize that watching this side of YouTube is the same thing. Just actually unscripted.
For and an understanding of how people make themselves careers, mostly off of watching and responding to other people's online content.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that seems basically industry standard among drama YouTubers and live streamers is that they all largely just watch something going in blind and they say their thoughts as they go.
Yep.
Personally,
Right. For an understanding of this, if you want a simple introduction to this that is not as charged, I guess, Riff Tracks, Mystery Science Theater. It's like watch party stuff, but spicier. That's all it is, right?
I think it's kind of a weak format for actually responding to the content of any given video. I would much rather prefer to see basically something with structure. You know,
Nah. That's not as fun. It's about fun, not like debunking. If something is debunked, incidental.
Show a relevant clip from someone, then respond with a pre-planned, scripted counter to it, where you articulate your specific disagreement, and repeat that process as much as necessary to make your point. Because, with a live format, not only are you likely to end up making your audience sit through a bunch of content that might not amount to much of any value just to get to the good bits.
Yeah. That's why you gotta keep saying, that's why you go on detours. Like, other people will criticize this format by saying, they keep talking about random other stuff. It's like, yeah, that's how you fill it in. That's how you fill it in.
But if you're responding blindly to a new thing every day, you might just end up doing a several-hour-long live stream where it turns out you didn't have much to say at all. And we, the viewers...
That's, you learn when to cut, when to, like, just pull the cord. You pull the cord. You need good fuel. If you don't have good fuel, you gotta cut and then move on to something else, and then cut and move on to something else. That is avoidable. It's a skill issue when that happens. It's not something you are inherently risking every time. You get a feel for what will fuel the stream.
Don't get to hear any real definitive statements from you. The personality we're ostensibly listening to get specifically your commentary on the issue.
But not to learn and gain wisdom and absorb the worldview. Just to chill. Just to have a good time. At least that's how I think it should be.
It really highlights a gap between what I would call response videos and react videos.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with liking or watching or making the react content, of course.
True.
But it is just something
But that's a coward sentence. You should have just not included that.
I've noticed. And I'm sure if you've ever thought about it, you could explain and understand the difference too. Some of the streamers out there will go for up to 8 hours a day, and while I can respect the hustle of it all, they can end up only really saying a few impactful statements throughout the whole thing. I ran into this problem recently when I was trying to find out what the kerfuffle with Mutahar from Some Ordinary Gamers was about a month or so ago now.
So it'll be the relevance of Nux Taku in the background of the thumbnail.
As far as I can tell, the problem was that Mutahar was collaborating with someone with at least borderline pedophilic undertones. Then he announced that he was breaking off that professional relationship. Then he apparently went back on that decision.
Yeah, wishy-washy, fake values, so on and so forth.
And then when questioned about why he did all that, Muta equivocated so much he ended up looking bad from almost every possible angle. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Fair enough. But while I was trying to figure all this out, I ended up listening to a bunch of streams from someone who seemed to be covering the story as it unfolded pretty closely. This fella, Queeman. And like a lot of go-in-blind React streamers, a relatively large chunk of this guy's content is not exactly him articulating a response to the situation at length.
Yeah.
It's mostly little quips here and there.
It's how it works. It's like a watch party.
At no point does
it literally is a watch party, but with a lead banterer.
Queeman ever do anything like a video essay where he summarizes what happened and what his take is. What we get is a drip feed of off-the-cuff opinions over the course of like a half dozen live streams. And I couldn't help but notice, anytime the topic of the videos he's responding to veers closely to a matter of whether or not this person Mutahar was collaborating with, Nux Taku, is or was certifiably a pedophile, which is obviously way too comfortable with lolly hentai drawn child porn.
Did people's coverage go in? I didn't watch what other people were saying about Nuxtaku. Were people discussing, is he a diddler himself?
Queeman often says
Rather than the media angle and what he was using to get attention, his ostensible comfort with that sort of stuff.
something off the top of his head.
I think he just, lacks certain gut responses that's concerning.
That's just a little bit suspect. And after a while, you might start inadvertently noticing something of a pattern in everything Queeman says on the subject.
Card's noticing, man. He's become what he once hated.
So I just wanted to quickly run through a few examples of what I've picked out. Bear with me, then I'll do some reflecting on what we'll all have just heard.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing that perked my ears up here, if you go back to the earlier parts of this story and how Queeman covered it, naturally he starts at the point where Mutahar is giving his initial side of the story and distancing himself from Nuxtaku. And there's a point where Muta is describing how one of Nuxtaku's actions that should have been a red flag in retrospect, that he called out, was this incident where Nux, I believe, made a thumbnail that was a hentai image of a dog raping an underage Game of Thrones character. And
That sounds about right, yeah.
kind of shrugs that off entirely, makes a sarcastic quip about how it's not a big deal. And
I would suggest even if it was an of age, but wait, the dog rape was the XQC highlight reel thing. The Game of Thrones one was just the character from a Shadman thing. So it's not quite right, but I would suggest, cartoon dog rape thumbnails, and especially when you see what happens in the comments sections, where you have kids saying, "Hey, what is that?" And then weird creepers saying, "Oh, it's this," and then you go to the kids' channel and the creepers have latched onto them. It's like, ooh.
Muta isn't making a belatedly fair point in owning up to not condemning this earlier.
And honestly, you should never even have done this in the first place. But yeah, this is one of those things that kind of obviously was brought
Guys,
up.
making dog rape thumbnails, that's not okay. That's not cool, guys, okay?
And it's one thing
Mutahar's taking a hard stance 3 years later. Alright, guys, dog rape thumbnails, not cool.
that
Strange, but I thought maybe Queeman was just attempting
Yeah, I don't have a strong read on that clip, whether he's saying that's cool or whether he's going, look at how much of a fucking noodle, a limp tissue that Mutahar is.
to be critical of Muta here on
Yeah.
the basis that the critique was coming late, but he was just articulating it pretty poorly and coming
Yeah.
a bit off the mark here because it's a live react. But then, getting a bit further into the story, this trend begins to emerge where Queeman expresses the fact he doesn't think Nuxtaku has done anything worth condemning, even knowing that his stock and trade is explicitly underage-looking lolly hentai. And he seems to want to frame any attempt to try and condemn Nuxtaku on the basis that his stuff is pedophilic as too much of a reach.
This is the exact bullshit they were trying to pull. I remember, I do not give a fuck about lolly. Okay, I
What they
cannot
were
overstate
trying to
this.
pull.
I don't want to give anyone the impression I'm going after Nux about lolly. I don't care. I don't care.
Keep in mind,
Does Queeman have connection to anime people? And does he say this a lot? Now I'm interested. Now I'm very interested.
in that
Because I'm aware of an audience capture thing that happens with a lot of animoids. But he wouldn't be. He's a drama guy. Does he cover anime stuff?
clip, the greater context was that the, in my opinion, justified outrage over the fact that a cartoon child porn artist Nuxtaku had been courting was drawing images of
Where, like, there's this thing where you have to, like, not have an opinion. You have to just be like, I cannot analyze any sort of position on this that is anywhere near negative. I just don't care. I just don't care.
Keemstar's real-life daughter, which Queeman brushes aside, as if he doesn't even understand why people find someone who would proudly
No, he's not like that. Okay.
draw that sort of thing, or people who want to associate themselves with someone who would proudly draw that sort of thing, so morally reprehensible. Throughout this whole part of the story, as he starts to get more and more people in his own chat expressing that they think Nux is in the wrong here, and as Queeman pads out his coverage by going through other streamers' reactions to the story, the line we hear from him more often than any other is variations on the classic lolly apologist argument, why do you care, they're only cartoons?
I don't care. I don't care. It's fucking cartoons.
This was starting to raise more
Yeah, but regarding what? What is he saying that in response to? So, like, that's a counter to commentary on the material itself? The material itself in a vacuum, yeah, it's a drawing. Unfortunately, we live in a fucking society. There are other people. Right? Media is more than just a drawing in a vacuum and what surrounds it. Sorry, it's more than just a drawing in a vacuum. There is also what surrounds it. Who's looking at it and why. Where it is, so on and so forth.
and more red flags in my eyes. But
Like saying it's just a drawing, I don't care. In response to what? I would want to know.
where I really started having to double take what I was hearing from Queeman was when the big Mutaha Mea Culpa video came out, and Muta was in his apologetic arc and trying to address some of the issues that people were bringing up about him. Because this is how Queeman approached the issue of Muta flip-flopping.
Dude, these people are so fucking weak. It's crazy. It's so fucking... Why do they get so antsy? Why do they get so antsy about being called, like, pedo defender? Just because, like, maybe they have, like, a stance that some fucking retard on Twitter doesn't like.
Queeman asks, why would someone get so antsy about
But I feel like I'm lacking... Card, I would like to see specifically what he's saying that in response to.
being called a pedophile defender? Now, I would have thought it would be obvious, because being a pedophile defender is a bad thing. No one normal would like to be called that.
True. Queeman is suggesting, though, that you shouldn't worry if it's a Dementoid on Twitter calling you that.
Hey you watching the video right now, would you like it if someone called you a pedo defender?
It really depends. It really depends. If Dark Season called me a pedo defender, that would be funny. Right? Someone massively influential calling me that. I'd be a little bit worried regarding people finding out where I live and killing me because they listen to that person.
No, you wouldn't. Queeman, apparently, doesn't understand that, or intuit why that is. And I think...
I don't know about this one, Card. I think the emphasis is on some retard on Twitter calling you that.
that being a pedo defender is bad is not just the opinion of some retards on Twitter. Thinking that being a pedo...
Wait. It's not just the retards on Twitter who think that's bad. The issue is if you are worried about retards on Twitter making that judgment of you. That is different to it's just them who thinks being a pedo defender is bad. If it's a retard judging you to be a pedo defender, that doesn't matter too much. Unless, they get a lot of attention, then you might actually be in danger.
defender is bad is a very normal, common opinion. And surely everyone who is not out to defend pedophiles doesn't like to be called a pedophile defender.
Surely not everyone who is out to defend pedophiles doesn't like being pedophile. Sure.
I really truly think it's great that almost everyone online, regardless of their other political leanings, we can all sit down together and shake hands and agree that pedophilia is bad.
True.
I feel like that the vast majority of people who do any sort of politically tinted content online, from the liberals to the tankies to the anarchists and all the flavors of various commentary.
I don't know. My impression is that particularly among the leftoid side, there is a lot of acceptance of the idea that, well, having that attraction alone isn't bad. They can't help it. They just, it's just how they are. You don't control who you're attracted to. Versus, I guess, a more typically rightoid position that's like, yeah, you can't help it, but it still means you're basically a demon. So
chud on the other side, everyone can agree pedophilia is bad, being a nonce is bad, and lolly hentai is definitely intentionally an attempt to sexually draw children, and that's bad. But Queeman alone dares to ask,
yeah, there's a difference between, the material itself and even the intent behind drawing it, and a difference between that and how it's consumed. But maybe that doesn't matter.
why would you care if people thought you were a pedophile? It's no biggie. And here, when I was starting to think there's no way he couldn't say anything else.
I'm again unimpressed with Kyle in this, because it's, why would you care that some retard on Twitter thinks you are? That's different from caring any given person.
Worse. You're about to see Queeman reacting to Xanderhall here.
Oh, fuck. This is too much. This is too far. This is too much torture.
And say what you want about Xanderhall, that he's a big lib, bad with money, dumb, stoner, filming in a church basement, maybe wants to kill his editors, looks like he has AIDS. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've heard it all. But he's actually going to make a very cogent point here about how the Nuxtaku lolly fixation was being played off as a joke right up until it wasn't, and that someone calling him out should have come a lot sooner. Queeman here has now inexplicably turned his face cam on to give his hot take that jokingly being a pedophile is actually just...
I don't know, I haven't seen his stuff. Does he... How often does he turn on his face cam? Is this like the one time he did it was for this?
It's like a harmless like, among pals and really funny.
Maybe in 2014 that kind of stuff was seen as edgy memes and jokes, but in 2017, you're drawing Lolicon, that shit's going to end you, right? And it no longer got taken as a joke that people shrugged it off as for years and years and years, and they took it seriously. The same thing's happening with Nuxtaku right now. It's going to happen to other content creators too. I'm so glad we're heading in that direction, but boy, would I prefer if it was faster. You know, I would really prefer if it was quicker. That like these things stop being played off as jokes and accepted as jokes or memes. They're not jokes or memes. No one jokes about being a pedophile.
Yes, they do.
That funny. No one wants. No one finds it funny for people to as a joke.
Yes, they do. Okay. Yes, they.
To be fair, I have.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes, they literally. That's incredibly fun. It's incredibly funny to joke about being a pedophile, actually.
But not by going, hey, look at this cartoon of a baby getting railed. Isn't that funny? Not in that way.
It's incredibly funny.
Now, you might think Queeman's just being edgy and contrarian for the sake of being an edgy contrarian internet persona or something. But he spends an awfully long time defending the thing Nuxtaku was doing that started all this, where he'd do YouTube videos accessible to kids no less, where he'd watch and react to...
Not just accessible to kids and adults, and you can see in the comment sections that kids are looking at it and kids are talking about the thumbnail. And they're being joined by adults who are supplying them with further stuff. Going to their profile, talking to them. It's
lolly hentai
dark.
Videos. And here, Queeman then pulls some data completely out of his ass. Source, trust me, bro. It doesn't do so much as cite anything at all. But he asserts that actually, Nuxtaku having this video series where he would watch lolly stuff with Muta and his other collaborators would actually make him less likely to ever really molest a kid or something.
What?
And if you say otherwise,
Wait, how do you even get there?
or if you still think that watching lolly hentai is wrong, then he thinks you're just virtue signaling. And even worse, you're not even trusting the BS lolicon science he's just made up. Get a load of this.
Is this clip gonna blow my mind?
That if someone consumes lolicon and is able to be open, like not open about it as in do it openly, but like talk to people about it, that they're less likely to offend.
Uh-oh, he's not gonna just state this is true, is he? This is 100% uncut pedophile activist propaganda. What is he doing?
And if they watch lolicon and they don't talk to anyone about it, then they are more likely to offend. So if someone is like totally, when someone has a paraphilia, if they have people that they can discuss it with and talk about the urges they're feeling, they are less likely to feel.
No, dog, this is fucking pedo propaganda. Don't say the data supports this. If he fucking says that, he is 100% on my sus list.
Pigeonholed, trapped, and end up acting on whatever urge, whatever usually either self-detrimental or harmful to others urge that they're experiencing. That generally tends to lower the risks of that. I thought Xanderhall was a data guy who was all about...
Oh no!
I guess not, though. I guess he just wants to virtue signal like a fucking...
When you read the literature, when you read the research, it is overwhelmingly stated repeatedly that there is a massive lack of data. You look at stuff from even the last couple of years, and the emphasis is on the fact that better research is needed, better methodology is needed. The only people stating that anything like this is absolutely true based on the data are pedophiles, pedophile sympathizers, or absolute brain-dead fucking retards who have been mind-raped by pedophiles. This is horrendous. The reason they push this, the reason the pedos push this is, you have to give us space! You gotta let us organize! And that's another massive issue with any data about pedophiles. They've had time to network, they get online, they try and game all this stuff. You look at data on pedophiles as well, and comes from fucking self-reporting, bro. And again, look at what they do online. They organize, you can see clear threads through everything they're saying. They actually work pretty hard at courting the lolicon sort of community. It's kind of spooky. Maybe we can look at a clip later. They're quite systematic in their approach, if you look.
Loser.
Now, where does this leave us? Here's the thing. Like I said at the top of the video, one of the main things about React streamers is how they do this stuff for sometimes 8 hours a day.
Like if you, here's a fun one. Where's a good one? Let me get a fun clip for you of this whole idea of, if you're mean to pedophiles, they're more likely to rape. You gotta be really nice to pedophiles. And, this person doesn't actually go as hard as suggesting it's supported by data. They might be too smart to do that, because again, if you look at the literature, overwhelmingly, there will be a caveat you'll see. Over and over again, there's a massive lack of data. Because of course there is, because people don't just come out and say they're pedophiles. There's also a problem with any data, because a lot of the time, if they're getting info from pedophiles, it's going to be organized pedophiles online, from somewhere like Verped, or it's going to be people who have offended. And you can see the issue with taking from those groups, because it's not going to be representative of a whole. But you want to see a really interesting person with a similar take? But this person doesn't try and lean on. Oh. Gotta be careful, because there's some, TOS stuff in this. Okay. So, here's an example of an open pedophile pushing this line of, you have to be nice to them, because otherwise they'll rape. And someone who is openly a pedophile activist pushing this line.
When it comes to maps, my kind are told there's only one narrative about who we are. That we are monsters destined to abuse. In the weight of this narrative, some of us can't conceive of who we were supposed to be outside of that. We might give up on being good people, just as society gave up on us.
These are the people being listened to. These are the people data is being taken from to try and understand what needs to be done about pedophiles. They are organized. They are lockstep. Things are only going to get worse. Okay? And it absolutely just played, man.
And even if you comb through a lot of their content on double speed, you're still...
Because strategically, if you are asking pedos, like, what do you need? What's happening? You know? Oh, if I feel bad, I'm gonna rape. Oh, I raped because I feel bad. You have to be nice to us, or kids get raped. Maybe don't trust them. Maybe don't just believe them. Okay? You just raided me? Thank you for the raid. I didn't see it.
Only end up getting a few relevant things to clip out here and there. With Queeman specifically, I don't necessarily think you could properly...
I'll check Queeman's study after this. I'll look into that. See which one it is. Nice freeze frame. I would be shocked. What's the bet? Should we do a bet? I think when I go to look at the study, one of the first things it's going to suggest is that there's a massive lack of data.
Definitively make a judgment call on whether or not he's secretly a massive nonce himself, based off of just what you get by looking for his reactions to stuff when he's covering a topic like lolly hentai in the YouTube commentary community. But I do think there's something here that I'd like to see interrogated a little bit further.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a debater or an interviewer or in that commentary circle of creators at all.
Yeah, but that's the magic of YouTube. You can just do it.
I'm merely a hobbyist. But wouldn't it be really swell if one of the established, experienced, big names in the space maybe got Queeman on a call or something?
Keemstar!
And got him to give some definitive statements about where he lands on the issue? Because I, for one, think that being into this
You could do it, Card. You could just do it.
lolly hentai stuff is bad. And you're practically just as bad if you run defense for the people who do openly consume it. And I don't like people who dance around without ever putting their chips down and firmly stating what their beliefs are. I don't want to necessarily accuse Queeman of being a pedophile or a
You know, not necessarily.
pedophilia apologist. But I do want to hear him give some definitive statements as to his thoughts on the matter. And don't you? It's just a thought.
Sure, why not?
Anyway, once again, my name's Card. If you might like to hear more from me, feel free to subscribe to this YouTube
Alright,
page.
there's our boy Card. Let's try and find... so what is the Queeman thing? Let's see what convinced him of that claim. Because it is a claim that is very beneficial to pedophiles. They should feel comfortable and safe discussing stuff. They should have a space for that. Reddit quote of the study. Yeah, I figured it'd be in the VOD. Does he have VODs public? I presume he must if you checked it or whatever. Does he do it like me? He does it like me! Okay, I can work with this. Streamed 19 hours ago. Check the transcript. If I do like Control F study... Let's see. Hang on.
I don't recall ever saying that.
Wait, don't recall ever saying what?
It's if it comes up in the context of when Destiny made that argument, I've explained that argument. But I keep hearing people say that I think giving lolly...
Hold up. Oh, he's talking about the Destiny ethical CP thing. Okay. There's one study I thought he was mentioning. I think I misheard, actually. I've got the study.
Talk to anyone about it, then they are more like. So that this is like poorly phrased, but this is.
I don't think what he said was poorly phrased. I understood exactly what he was saying. Hang on. They should bring it up here.
I've got the study. This is poorly phrased, but the point is that low-risk people who consume lolly, there is no evidence to suggest that.
Low-risk people who consume lolly, there is no evidence to suggest. You didn't phrase it poorly. You said something very clearly, and now you're doing a walk back. This looks bad as fuck, in my opinion.
There is an increased chance of offense, okay?
There is no evidence there's an increased chance of offense. You didn't phrase it poorly. You said something different.
High-risk people who consume lolly, there is evidence that they have an increased chance of offense. So, 1 minute, where's the study?
So, you misrepresented this study in the pedophile's favor in that clip. I think Card fucking has you, bro. What is this?
And obviously, the risk factors, when you're talking about stuff like sex crimes...
Show me.
The risk factors are... Fuck, man, I can't remember. It's the 4, isn't it? It's access, opportunity... I think social isolation and substance abuse or something like that.
Damn, what might help them get access, particularly online? Venues? Like, being able to talk about this stuff openly? Who might they get access to? Being able to do that more freely and openly and having spaces.
Because
curious.
The point is that if you don't have a social buy-in, if you don't have, you know, friends, family, a job to lose, all this stuff, you're more likely to transgress on laws and social norms because you do not have that buy-in.
This is irrelevant to the commentary in the clip Card showed. You were talking about them needing to have a space to specifically engage with this stuff and talk about this stuff. This commentary works regarding total ostracization of pedos, maybe. This is something else.
Like, weighs the evaluation, right? So, where's this study?
That's what I want to see.
So I'll be saying I pulled it out of my ass.
Please don't give me a Brianna Wu jump scare, please.
I know I phrased it poorly there, but this is what I'm referring to, okay? Let's go over it. I'll have a...
Drawing the line on virtual child pornography, bring the law in line with the research evidence.
Quick look, rather. Fuck, we don't have the full thing here. 1 second. I should have gotten the full thing.
Do you not have the full thing?
1 minute. 1 second. You're gonna get dead air, okay?
Is he gonna just log in, or...?
I read it up earlier, because I had to find...
Hang on.
Oh, where's the... I had like a whole Reddit thread up earlier, because I had to find the studies that we looked at that one night. Again, this is like... So, when I'm recalling stuff like this, I've done... It's because we've looked at something on stream.
Okay.
We've like read through some paper on stream, and I'm referring back to it. Pretty much all the shit that I reference is stuff that I've pulled up on stream at some point. Because I don't remember shit very well, so I end up having to pull it up multiple times. And once I hash it out, with like if I argue about it or if I bring it up a few times, that it'll sink in. So there will be like one study or two studies that we look at in like a drama, and end up referencing them multiple times.
No. Neko, the idea is that someone who has no societal buy-in is more likely to offend. If they're just doomed and they're fucked, they might just go, fuck it, I'm gonna rape.
Here we are. So there was this Reddit thread. This is where we got a bunch of this stuff from before.
Okay.
It's got the excerpt from it here.
Oh, fuck! Did bro never actually look at it?
So, taken together, the two lines of independent lines of research, one focusing primarily on groups of offenders, the other primarily studying non-forensic samples with varying degrees of risk profiles, complement each other very well by their strengths and limitations. Importantly, the two lines of research support similar conclusions. Exposure to non-consenting pornography, child or adult, can whet the appetite or add fuel to the fire for individuals with a relatively high risk for offending, revealed by either a previous conviction for offending or by scoring highly on risk factors for sexual aggression. On the other hand, individuals with low known risks for sexual offending, revealed by either lack of previous behavioral offenses or scoring low on risk factors, do not show any evidence of increased risk for sexual offending as a result of exposure to such pornography.
And what did Queeman say?
Consumes Lolicon and is able to...
Hang on.
Get a load of this.
That if someone consumes Lolicon and is able to be open, like not open about it as in do it openly, but like talk to people about it, that they're less likely to offend.
Queeman, that's not poorly phrased. That's the opposite regarding people high risk of offending, and not at all what was said about people who are at low risk of offending. Additionally, what he's showing in this stream, as far as I can tell, does not relate to them having a community and the ability to discuss it freely. Also, this study ostensibly is about actual child pornography. Was he talking about that here?
He's just made up. Get a load of this.
That if someone consumes Lolicon and is...
Yeah, that study isn't regarding cartoons either. As far as I can tell here, I haven't looked at it yet, but what he's citing refers to non-consenting pornography, child or adult. So, rape porn of child or adult. This doesn't really have any relation to what he was saying in this clip.
Is able to be open, like not open about it as in do it openly, but like talk to people about it, that they're less likely to offend. And if they watch Lolicon and they don't talk to anyone about it, then they are more likely to offend.
Bro, this has fucking nothing to do with the quote from the card posting video. The card posting video is Queeman talking about people's likelihood to offend, given the ability to talk about Lolicon with other people having watched it. It's not poorly phrased, it's just something else entirely. And it's a massive assertion.
So if someone is like totally, when someone has a paraphilia, if they have people that they can discuss it with and talk about the urges they're feeling, they are less likely to feel...
Yeah, this is about enabling them to have a community.
Pigeonholed, trapped, and end up acting on whatever urge, whatever usually either self-detrimental or harmful to others urge that they're experiencing. That generally tends to lower the risks of that. I thought Xanderhall was a data guy who was all about uncomfortable data.
The Reddit thread he was reading from. Yeah, this is weird as hell. Studies directly studying the topic, especially drawings. Even in the Reddit thread, the guy's like, there's a lack of info. Bro! The thing I was talking about, all the fucking literature saying, is even stated by this guy in the thread. This guy is pointing out an issue himself. As a premise, studying pedophilia in itself is difficult, as they have little incentive to identify themselves, even to medical doctors and therapists. Yeah. The like, I have the data approach is fucking stupid, because there's very little of it, and it's all fucked up. Prevalence of pedophilia unknown. Among those caught. This is something that is political, by the way, and includes such sleight of hand as like circumcision being counted as child abuse, to pump the numbers and shrink the percentage of child abuse people who are considered pedophiles are responsible for. That's an interesting one we saw from Rondemy. Yeah. Midnight Sun says he's selling it as lowly makes people offend less. He's not saying that in the card clip. He's defending pedophiles' ability to organize in the card clip. Which is, like... That specifically is why I'm like, dog, what are you doing? Excuse me? I mean, that's what the pedophiles say. You know, that's how they defend, like, you need to let us have our forums, you need to let us organize, you need to let us become like a political faction, because otherwise we'll rape, is their thing. Is there anything here regarding people talking? So this is regarding all rape. And regular pornography. Control F, lolly? I don't think I will. This stuff isn't very directly related to what he was saying at all. Very strange. Queeman! Very weird.
So that's the basis. That's what I'm referring to when I bring that up. Just so we're clear. No, I haven't totally pulled out my ass. I haven't just totally made it up.
Yeah, what you say in the clip, in the card posting video, has nothing to do with any of that. I'm just reading for 1 sec. Okay, so they're commenting on the constitutionality of prohibition of virtual child pornography. So this is commentary on First Amendment. What even is this? Control F. Did he call this a study? Dog! Look! Every single time you look at this literature, you have to be aware. Okay. Here's some dipshit filter. Queeman. Ready? Let's go to the part where they talk about research, right? What do they say about the research? The quantity and quality of the research concerning the effects of child pornography consumption leave a great deal to be desired. You can't go, the data supports this! I thought you were data-based. The data is fucking shit. And anything worth reading will acknowledge this. You can't be a data lord. I have the data. This. If you're gonna go... Actually, allowing pedophiles to organize online protects children because it makes them less likely to offend. That's not a data-backed position. That is what the pedophiles say. That is pedophile activism, bro. What the fuck is... Oh. Yeah, and this of course explains a lot of the problems with it. Getting it. These studies, which you describe below, may provide some insight, however limited, into the overlap between use of child pornography and other characteristics of behavior. This is not something you point at and go, here's the hard data, here's a position that's backed by the science. No, this is very, very, very soft, and it's not pretending to be anything else. I don't know why someone would want to pretend it is anything else. I don't know why the hell someone would use this as backing to the position that allowing pedophiles who are into loli to organize and discuss things, you know, reduces the likelihood to offend. Ooh. But apart from that, that's all I really wanted to see regarding this card posting vid. Very strange. If you're pointing to any kind of pedo research and going, this is rock solid, this is what the data shows, you're either retarded, a pedophile, or someone who is, you know, very much on their side. Those are really the only options. There is no, like, deep, meaningful data on them for obvious fucking reasons. Right. Let's learn about Japan. Let's go to something much, much softer and friendlier. Oh. Dude, I forgot the title of this. I forgot how good the title of this was. Oh, man. I hope Queeman's just dumb. I hope he's just dumb. Obviously. I'm going to visit Japan this year. Later this year, in the winter months, in the off-season, so that we don't get utterly swarmed. I know Japan has an over-tourism problem, so I am still at high risk of getting crushed to death and not having a good time. But I am going to visit. So I find myself being more interested than before in what's Japan like? How are the people loving the vibes in Tokyo and whatnot? But unfortunately, someone showed me a video in which a man is absolutely not just chillin'. In his video, why I don't like Japanese people or culture. Thumbnail, I'm moving out. Quite a bold claim. Quite a bold statement. I imagine his actual commentary in the video has to be a bit softer than that suggests.
I know many of you know that I don't necessarily love living in Japan.
I think his frustrations with the pedophile discourse in the commentary space is over retards going pedophilia bad and then being cheered for having zero knowledge about anything. Is he like the Dave Rubin of pedophilia? The left were mean to me. The left were dumb, so the pedo haters are, to be fair, overwhelmingly retarded. So I went to the other side. Alright, okay. This man does not like Japanese people or culture.
I know many of you know that I don't necessarily love living in Japan. You can
No.
watch my previous videos to find out the several reasons why.
He has multiple Japan Sucks videos. What is this channel? Seven reasons why you should never date a Japanese guy. This is incel enemy number 1. Holy balls.
I don't love. But I don't hate the country. I don't think it's the worst country to live in. Because it's a safe, healthcare system is good, living cost is affordable, and it's clean.
It's clean.
But I could do without the frequent earthquakes and
Fair.
extremely muggy summers. However, I do hate the people on culture.
Japan's great. You know, good healthcare, cost of living. Shame about them. Damn. Insert word that will get me banned here.
So I'm gonna give my honest impression of Japanese culture and Japanese people today. Disclaimer.
Thank you, Scappy.
So you can interact with this terrible culture.
True. Lucky Bee's the Japanoid. She's the one learning Japanese.
This is going to be my subjective impression.
Yeah,
so
of course.
This doesn't apply to everyone in Japan. So
That's not what that means, but fair enough as an ESL.
I'm just talking about people in general after living in this country for 20.
That's not what subjective means, but of course it's subjective. It's your opinion regarding what you like or dislike.
26 years. First of all, in general, I don't really like how people dress, how they look.
I hate the Japanese for how they look, bro. Absolutely not what I expected. I thought it was gonna be, you know, oh, the culture of the nail that sticks out gets hammered down, all that sort of stuff. I don't like that. It sucks for young people. He starts off with, they look all fucked up.
How they talk, how they're really conservative.
How they smell. Okay, how they're conservative. That's more along the lines of what I expected.
Of everything, so on. This is going to be extremely big one. Facial expressions is really poor, okay?
I literally hate the way the face of the Japanese moves.
People don't express themselves facially. They wear masks. Even the COVID season is over, you would see like many people wearing masks. It's not like they're allergic to those pollens. I mean, some people might be, but if you ask like especially like women wearing masks, guess what they say? Why they're wearing masks?
Ooh. Saves them time from having to put on makeup. Vanilla's going with teeth. The classic Japanese teeth.
Because they're insecure about their faces.
Oh, okay.
During COVID, we have a shutdown.
Probably closer to the teeth.
We have quarantine. Everyone was like kind of forced to wear masks, right? So some of them just start working in a company during the COVID season, and they were wearing masks all the time. And now, COVID is over, you can actually take off the masks. But what they do is they keep their own masks because they don't want the other people or the colleagues who only know their faces with the masks on be seen. They don't want to show their face because they're
The mouth has become an intimate organ.
so afraid, they're so insecure about their faces. I'm like, who cares about your freaking face? Nobody cares about your freaking face.
It feels like you do a lot, though.
This story gets crazier. I was reading a book about addiction in a convenience store because I found a book about addiction. I was interested.
All right.
And as I was reading, that's Japanese, by the way. I saw a section that addiction to wearing masks. I mean, have you heard of addiction to wearing
So they're victims.
masks. I that was my first time that I
To be fair, in Japan, the face masks are infused with nicotine.
had
They're wild over there.
my eyes on the words masks. Addiction to masks. You might have zero luck finding someone
Thank you, Saint Sadistic.
I am 12.
who's
What is
addicted
this?
Don't say that in the Twitch chat. You will get banned.
to wearing
But thank you.
masks, probably in the US or the UK or Europe. But you probably find many people who are addicted to wearing masks because they want to share, because they want to cover up their faces, because they're so insecure about their faces. I'm like,
Every reaction
Thank
day is
you.
garbage day.
Oh wait, yeah, that was a sub. That wasn't a dono. You're gone, bro. You just killed yourself. Like, it's not even just that I'll ban you. It's Twitch will get you, brother.
nobody gives a S about your face, what you look like. Going back to facial expression.
Your previous complaint was that you hate their facial expressions. So
Eye contact. Okay, I'm making eye contact.
no one gives a shit about your face. By the way, I hate the way your mouth moves. I hate the way your eyes look. I hate where you look. I hate your lips. I hate your nose.
With you, I'm supposed to make an eye contact with you when I'm talking to you, but in Japan, that's not really the case. It's really common for people not to make eye contact with you when talking to you. For example, if you're cashing out, if you're buying grocery and you're dealing with a cashier, right? At the till, you're buying those grocery. They're usually not gonna make eye contact with you. They don't even treat you as a human being, right? If you talk to like service people at the reception, they don't even.
This is on another level. Normally it's service people being like, I'm not treated like a human being. I'm just there to serve. I'm just there to serve. They treat me like shit. The service people aren't treating me like a human being? What in the fuck is this complaint? It's mental issues? Yeah, it sounds like it.
Look up to you like this, and okay, your room is like upstairs or something. They just keep glancing down at the desk, and they just sort of say, okay, room 102 or something.
Yeah, but to be fair, I imagine this guy being out in public, like basically vibrating, tweaking out, like, I booked a room for 2 days. I'm Taiki.
You know, without even looking up to you. It's like, that's okay, some people make eye contact, yes. Like, I've experienced, like, not being paid attention to or not being treated as a human being because they don't make eye contact with me.
Does he have videos about schizophrenia? I want to check real quick. How to text Japanese men. Don't date him. Why you shouldn't date Japanese women. I want you to come. So he's a language channel that went a bit dementoid, I guess. I don't know.
I take dance lessons, okay? And I missed a class, so I could do the substitute lesson with another dance teacher.
Gotcha.
So I
Yeah, okay.
went to a dance lesson in a different location with a different teacher. First time meeting her, she didn't even look up. I said, okay, I am Taiki, who is participating in the dance class today. I was introducing myself, like trying to look at her in the eyes. She didn't even look. Okay, imagine you are me, and I am her, right?
Okay.
Like, okay, nice to meet you.
Just imagine I'm a woman and look me in the eyes. I don't feel comfortable. This feels like cheating.
They don't even, she didn't even look me in the eyes, like the whole time. She didn't even freaking smile.
No
And,
joke.
like that's heartbreaking.
joke at
for
all.
Most people, I think. Also, if you're like a calm person or like down to earth communication is seen as, I don't know, boring. I mean, in
Yeah.
English, it's common to be calm, right? It's common to be,
Sure.
okay, so this is what I want to do, and I want to do this. So like, are you in, or something? I don't know. Whenever you talk, it's kind of more like down to earth, right?
You mean small talk?
But in Japanese culture, you kind of have to be really excited or something.
I don't believe this. I think he's trying to screw over foreigners. Hey, you know what Japanese people love? If you're just loud and in their face constantly. Bro is gonna say, like, make sure to talk really loud on your phone on the train. They love it. It makes you look busy. They like that, like a businessman. Everyone will love you.
It's like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like, oh my god, sugoi, or something, you know? Like this.
Oh my gosh, sugoi.
And I don't do that. If you don't do it, you're seen as like a cold person.
I don't believe this. I absolutely... No.
I'm like...
Preloading for Civ 7, Bunny? What do you mean? You don't have time for that. Last I saw you online on PoE 2, Bunny, you were like level 24. What's going on, big guy?
That's so freaking shallow.
You don't have time for Civ.
This is my subjective experience. I know there are people who are down to earth communicating and more accepting those communications.
Spectral says even at music concerts, being respectful is an important thing in Japan. Speaking of concerts, Lucky B and I are going to see Nine Inch Nails.
Forms of communication, but my sister literally
She got tickets.
Told me that when I speak Japanese or when I speak English, obviously when I speak English, she told me that I was like a foreigner, but
now you're making me feel guilty. Oh, Matt, Bunny. It's because Bunny's got pain from his... dealing with pain up until he gets his surgery. Fuck! My video game roast has been turned around onto me.
even when I speak Japanese, she told me like I was speaking English. She told me that I sound like I'm speaking English. I'm like, what does that mean?
And then the streamer said, hey, spine cuck. Look at your damn broken spine. Hope you get surgery soon so you can stop being a fake broken spine gamer.
But she was like, oh, because you're speaking like in a down-to-earth way, like really calmly. I'm like, I don't know how to speak in any other way, because I'm a down-to-earth person. What are you talking about? Do I have to fake my...
What is Maxi linking?
So I'm not sure how people will respond to this video, but I think it's funny. I made a...
Gender isn't real? True. In the sense that, like, you know, goth isn't real either.
My personality when I speak. So, yeah. And I heard people say...
I told Lucky B, like, I'm not really familiar with Nine Inch Nails. I know a couple of their most famous tracks, right? But I did warn her that if at any point, for whatever reason, although I doubt this would occur, they play anything from the Quake soundtrack, I will lose my fucking mind.
Non-Japanese people seem really scary because the way they talk is like calm, you know? So some people find me scary.
Is Lucky Bee the bigger ninner? She's a Nine Inch Nails fan. I'm not. I don't not like them. I just never got into them, you know? Make sure you have concert earplugs. Yeah, I was telling Lucky Bee that we need to get some. I was always so careful with that. Because, you know, I was a musician. All throughout, you know, like high school into early 20s. And I'd always be at gigs, either playing or just as a member of the audience. And I was always so careful with earplugs. Because I really didn't want tinnitus. One day I just got a fucking ear infection. Gave me tinnitus. Onion vid? Ex-pedophile shares tips on how to make your kids less attractive.
Too, because a lot of people tell me that I talk like a Westerner, even in Japanese. So I just don't like not being able to be myself when I talk. Thank you very much. Also, as I was reading Daring Greatly by Brené Brown, which I highly recommend, she talks about shame in that book. Now, shame...
Oh, it's okay. The ear infection was like over a decade ago. I don't have an ear infection now. I mean, I had a really bad ear infection, and then even after it was cleared up, I got tinnitus, and to this day I have tinnitus in my right ear.
She defines as a intense painful feeling that stems from when we think that we are flawed, therefore unworthy of love or belonging. It's like saying, when you make a mistake...
By the way, you can have a private one-on-one lesson with this guy if you want.
You're worthless or bad. And you feel...
True. I do sleep with the fan on. I have a fan blowing into the wall just for the noise.
That feeling, and you define it as a shame. In that book, she shares a story about sending an aggressive message to someone, and she was filled with shame. And she shares her feelings with her husband and friend, and they're both compassionate to her.
Okay.
And when I think about it, very few people in Japan would actually be compassionate. Probably that's an Asian thing. Because we have a culture to shame people, attack people when they make a mistake.
Yo, Japanese culture sounds sick as hell. Amazon product. Eargasm hi-fi earplugs. Damn, brother. I'm gasming. My ears, they're gasming.
Even when they admit that they made a mistake and simply being vulnerable. It's rare to see people being compassionate to anyone in general in Japan. Now that I think...
I always hear, maybe he'd disagree that this is compassion. I always hear about people in Japan being too helpful. Like way, way, way too helpful and kind. Although these are stories from foreigners, so maybe it's only how they, how they treat foreigners and tourists. But the advice I've heard is ask for help in Japan and you will probably get it. Just be careful because they will help you until you are fucking helped. If you're like, where is this thing? You might end up stuck with someone until you are at the thing.
Think about it. I only shared my shame stories or mistakes with non-Japanese friends because I didn't want to be blamed or judged by the Japanese people. That's a shame. Pardon me for talking about...
Just like you have a 30-year-old Japanese man as a child now until you reach your destination.
Culture and the people over...
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting might be the case, Arpra.
Overlapping each other, but I think these things go together usually. So
But surely he would have witnessed something like that occurring towards foreigners.
Talked about my culture and the people in my country, and please feel free to share your stories in the comment section below. But I have one more thing to talk about. It's the tattoo culture. I know.
Okay.
You would be very surprised by how much Japan hates the tattoos. If you have tattoos, you wouldn't be able to go to hot springs. Most places don't allow people with tattoos, and the sports gyms and swimming pools. Okay, understandable reason is because is that the Yakuzas would be in those places, right? If you allow the tattoos, right? It's not like people with tattoos are thought as Yakuzas, but it's because the Yakuza would use those hot springs and sports gyms, and that would scare people away. and that would therefore decrease the income of those facilities. That's understandable, but I had a student, right, from Australia. Okay, and he lives in Japan now, and he wanted to have a membership of a sports gym, right? And the receptionist saw like a tiny bit of a, because he was wearing a tank top at that time. So the receptionist saw the tattoo on his shoulder, like a really small one.
Yeah, Fowlin Hart. Sorry if that's not how you say your first name. We're obviously looking into that because Lucky and I want to visit like hot springs, and they tend to be pretty upfront about like if it's tattoo friendly or not and stuff.
Which was totally coverable, right? And he refused, right? He refused. He couldn't let.
And it seems pretty common for it to be like they'll give you a bandage or like a strip, or like if it's small enough to be covered, it's fine. There are places where it's fine. There are places where it's not okay. Blah, blah, blah.
The Australian student in because of the tattoo, okay, but the Australian might.
And especially if they have private little onsen rooms, then it normally doesn't matter.
That's my mate said, okay, I'll cover it up. Okay, that's fine. If I cover it up, like I patch it up, that'll be fine, right? But the receptionist still refused. It's like I saw the tattoo, so I can't. I mean, if you could cover it up, it would, everyone would think that's just an injury, right? Or something.
Maybe for one day. But what about when he has a bandage on eternally?
And if you could cover it, I don't think that would be a problem, because
no one will think I am Yakuza, okay?
Nobody would know that's a tattoo. So that kind of kills the purpose. It's understandable if you allow the tattooed people.
Now chat thinks I'm Yakuza. At least the YouTube
who are like.
You think I'm organized enough to be part of the crime syndicate?
Who cannot cover themselves, because Yakuza usually have like lots of tattoos like all over their bodies. Yeah, that if you prohibit those people.
Yakuza have the goofy tattoo, right? The tattoos with the split, like they have it all over, but with the split down the middle, so that when their suit is open slightly, you can't see that they have tattoos. That's the meme, right?
People from going to those gyms, that's understandable, yes, because then otherwise that would attract the Yakuzas. But if that's coverable, I don't see a problem of letting him in, letting him join. And the receptionist, to me, doesn't.
I did play some Yakuza games with a controller, so like a true Yakuza. I didn't realize that meant you gained membership.
Really makes sense, because that's not going to be a problem. It's not like the sports gym is letting everyone with tattoos in. It's like, okay, I saw the tattoo, now you cannot. I mean, he could have made some suggestions. Okay, if you cover it up, it's fine.
Tattoos.
But it's
What's
because
next?
of this. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you live in Japan.
Okay, I'm good. I was recommended this video. Like I said, it's sort of a shotgun day. We have lots of little 10-minute videos. Wait, did I install PresentMon? That's the monitoring thing, right? I think I did, but I haven't used it. I don't know. I don't remember. Someone recommended Toonari. Or rather, Toonari. Someone recommended Toonari's video called quote-unquote woke. Woke, Forced Diversity Agenda, DEI. They say they just wanted to rant once more about recent gaming discourse that has been surrounding some upcoming games. Oh god, I'm choking, bro. It hit me. Forget DEI, I'm about to fucking DIE.
Remember Me, an action-adventure game set in Paris 2084, where a mega corporation has access to the entire
A what corporation?
population's memories through a brain implant called Sensen. You play as Nilin, who had her memory erased by this corporation in fear of her.
Sir, could you back away from the mic just a little bit? I get close to it when I'm recording a scripted video, but you, I think, are just absolutely eating it. You might even have the bass up. It's very painful to listen to.
Ability to alter and change other people's memory. She sets out to recover her identity while she is hunted by the authorities responsible for this dystopian surveillance state.
This is horrible. Is he using like an isotope plugin as well to make it this bad? Pardon me.
Tomb Raider. This is another action-adventure game where you play as Lara Croft, who is an archaeologist that was hired to navigate a series of ruins and tombs in search of an ancient mysterious artifact, the Skion, only to find out that there are 3 parts of this artifact scattered around various tombs, and that she isn't the only one hunting them down. What is my point with bringing these 2 games up, you ask? What the f is wrong with you niggas? These are just 2 of countless games with a female lead that if they were to drop nowadays, you malevolent beasts would start crying woke. For some reason,
I don't know about Remember Me. If Tomb Raider dropped as it did back then, now, I don't think it would be.
it seems that every single time a woman is reviewed to be a protagonist in a game, y'all just start crying about shit, man. Ghost of Tsushima.
It's already obviously false. You don't have to agree with everything the wokoids say or whatever. They flipped out about Ciri because of how her face looks. They don't like that she's specifically a Witcher. I have no idea if they're right in their complaint about lore. They didn't like her face. They didn't not like that it was Ciri. Otherwise, why would they be hype about Stellar Blade? If Tomb Raider dropped today, and it was just like the original Tomb Raider, but with modern graphics, people would love it, just like they ate up Stellar Blade.
Ghost of Tsushima 2, The Witcher 4, Intergalactic, Assassin's
I think it'll be okay, babe, don't worry.
Creed Shadows. That game is hilarious because y'all couldn't figure out who y'all hated more, the black man or the woman. This series has been around
I think they hated the black man more. By a lot.
Well over a decade, and the only time I've ever seen uproar about it being historically inaccurate.
Like, no contest. You're not even hating on the other side properly or effectively.
Is when one of the main characters is black. Nobody said nothing about jumping hundreds of feet off a tower into some hay. The trailer for Shadows got over like 300,000 dislikes, mind you. Not only that, whenever there's like some type of showcase of gameplay or like a trailer, some announcement that has to do with Assassin's Creed Shadow, the shit just gets bombarded with dislikes, bro. Y'all can dislike games.
It's absolutely deserved though. Regardless of the characters, all Ubisoft should be shit on.
And everything, but I've never seen this much dislike over a game that hasn't released yet because one of the main.
Are you 3 years old? What do you mean you've never seen this much hate over an unreleased game? This is a baby speaking. Cliff Blazinski posted, when did we go from like cheering games for games to succeed to cheering for games to fail? Have you been in a coma? The console wars. Dumb fuck. Fanboys wanting the other consoles' exclusives to fail will be a classic example. Decades this has been going on.
Characters is black. Y'all can't even say that like DE whatever the fuck. Y'all can't say that shit is ruining games when the gameplay wasn't even revealed and y'all were still disliking it. And it's all just
games are not just gameplay. In fact, AAA games, the proportion of gameplay to everything else is smaller than ever.
Like buzzwords that are being tossed around. Woke, girl boss, DEI, agenda, diversity. Somebody in my comments said, oh.
Damn, for a second I thought I was watching an Andy Pants video, but he didn't say, like, merchants.
For representation. None of you could ever possibly hope to be a productive member of society. I know for a fact I'm gonna get a bunch of comments that's talking about he's falling for the rage bait. I don't doubt that there are definitely people online.
This recording of his voice is so bad, by the way, as well. He's so close to that microphone.
That are just trolling and engagement baiting.
Check Discord DM. This better be good. You're interrupting me listening to a horrible voiced black man. Excuse me. What? Cliffy B mentioned? Cliffy B! In the hot underage females you would like to sex thread. You are all far too sensitive to this. First, the Olsen twins are lucky that they turned out as hot as they are. They looked like animals when younger. Is this real? What the fuck?
And grifting and shit. Because it certainly brings in views and regard.
That's fucked up. Normally, like, if you're gonna be a pedophile, you at least make a good game or like good piece of music. That's how it went for the RuneScape composer.
$10 Superberry. Reminder that realism for Assassin's Creed Samurai started with Ubisoft saying it was historical.
True.
They hired a dude. His ex account he took down.
Shogun.
Claimed to be a historian and had him on podcast.
Shogun, it's gone. History. That didn't happen. Doesn't exist now.
Regardless of if it brings views or not, there's always gonna be people that are trolling on the internet. I'm not exactly fazed by that. I wish y'all would stop acting like there are dumbass niggas saying dumb, hateful shit.
I disavow.
That they genuinely believe in. So another stance that they'll probably take is that I'm saying to never criticize games. And this is where I start to wonder if y'all have any neurons transmitting properly in your fucking brain, my nigga. Of course, I'm not going to take a criticism seriously if y'all niggas are mad, not at the gameplay, just that you have to play as a black fucking man. I absolutely do think that all.
Damn, he sounds like he's anti-woke. Or is it only specifically if someone doesn't want to play as a black man? If he doesn't like people going, I can't play this. The character isn't me. If he doesn't like that, you're an anti-woke, brother.
Games have their respective flaws in gameplay or narrative or graphics or art style or general writing. No game is perfect and some have more flaws than others. I don't think those flaws include black people, and see, that's where our problem lies.
Depends. I guarantee you would not be a fan of how black people are included in the mod called ethnic cleansing.
Also don't think
I think that would help you understand.
Those flaws include whether or not a woman lead is fuckable. I don't understand the need to have every single female.
I'm not a mega gooner, but like, why can't they have that perspective? It's not my perspective, but like, why can't they? We're talking about digital toys. I want to fuck the characters in all my digital toys. I want them to be sexy. Okay.
Video game character look like nobody that would ever look in your general direction in real life. You will never fuck a bitch that look
like probably something like wrong with you a little bit if you genuinely need every character in a game. Like, obviously this isn't a real person, but if there's a person who genuinely needs every character to be fuckable, it's a bit weird.
Like Bayonetta, nigga, relax. Who the hell plays games that gets mad because they're forced to play a woman they don't find attractive? Even if they were attractive, they're not real. And if they were real, you would be way the
Okay, but you gotta look at them though. Insane path to take this down.
Out of your league. Where are these people when the protagonist looks like...
Yeah, the game looks like shit, but it's not real, so that's okay. Yeah, but I'm like... You want me to pay money for it though?
Crash Bandicoot. Do you have to be attracted to Crash Bandicoot to play Crash Team Racing, yes or no? Another stance that people take is, we don't mind diversity.
This man is just shotgunning shit he read on Twitter.
It's about forced diversity. Rooms of story rooms and...
This is black male shoe on head.
narrative, it ruins the experience, it ruins the gameplay. I can't seem to think of one example where it was the diversity that ruined a video game as opposed to, you know, the writing in the game sucking straight ass.
Damn. What might be a cause of, you know, writing decisions? What might feed into these decisions?
Saints Row Reboot, Dustborn, Concord. These games did not fail because of diversity or whatever the hell reason that y'all like to bring up. These are...
Now watch him mention something that was directly caused by consideration of diversity and inclusion. Now...
Genuinely just terrible fucking games that nobody likes.
Why did the writing happen? You don't just... Writers are not people who just do, oh, skill check. I rolled a 20 on my 20-sided dice. I wrote a good thing. Or, damn, the writer just rolled a 1 on the writing skill check and it was bad. No, people write things for reasons, don't they? Why was it written that way? Why were the characters designed that way?
Everything about Concord was 1, generic, and 2, done better, way better, by its competitors. The only shit that Saints Row had going for it was the customization. Everything else, writing, narrative, the characters.
Damn, could we have an example of the terrible writing, please?
Story, gameplay, complete garbage. And I don't even know what Dustborn was. I genuinely don't know what that shit was. But if
Hold up. We've learned how to cancel someone. Cancel will allow us to isolate people from their friends and compatriots in battle. This could be a useful tool against enemies. Damn! Hey, Toonari! Why would they have an ability themed after cancelling? Or rather, named cancel. An ability based on cancelling someone on social media. What is Dustborn about? It's about misinformation in the age of social media. Uh-oh. Where did they get some funding from? What message are they trying to put across? Why was it written this way? Fucking dipshit.
I don't know what that shit was. But if this was really y'all problem, then I don't understand because y'all love Overwatch, y'all love League of Legends.
No. What do you mean?
And Overwatch especially is basically everything that y'all accuse other games of.
Yeah. Yes.
Just sounds like you're calling anything that doesn't pander to you specifically to be forced. Because even if that was the case, we have games that haven't even
Forced diversity and representation in Overwatch? You mean the game where whenever Blizzard's in controversies, suddenly a new character in Overwatch is gay? In response? I'm sure it's all organic and just someone's vision for what would be good.
At least yet that y'all are bombarding with dislikes when we haven't even gotten a chance to see if it was actually ruined by said forced diversity. I want y'all to notice how often these
look, the game can't be objectively ruined unless it technically doesn't work, right? If someone doesn't fucking like Ciri's face to the point where they're not even going to touch the game, it totally ruins it for them. The game is ruined for them. You might think they're being a bit of a baby, but it is. This is subjective stuff, bro.
People use
these kind of arguments don't make sense. It's not ruined by it being ruined isn't an actual property.
When deflecting arguments. We never said it was this. We've always stated that. None of us have ever said this. Why the f y'all talking like Venom behind that computer screen? Speak for yourself, nigga. You are not Ermac. I can't seem to pinpoint exactly what that word woke even means because of how many contexts it's used in. My first instinct is to go, well,
perhaps you should utilize that context to understand its meaning in the given instance, each time it's used.
Maybe it's the inclusion of characters that are literally anything but disgruntled white men.
Bro, learning for the first time that words can have multiple definitions in common use at the same time? I'm losing my mind. This word can be entrance or entrance?
Why are we acting like women did not exist before 2016? Why are we acting like black people did not exist before a couple of years ago? Bitch, I'm right here. It's as if portrayals of people from different backgrounds.
Given your awareness of culture, it does sound like you only started to exist a couple of years ago.
Have never existed in a video game atmosphere, when that is the complete opposite for nearly any series you can think of that has a human cast of characters. The creators of Mortal Kombat, for example, have always made sure to include characters of different colors and backgrounds within their games. Not so much for the sake of representation, I don't think, but like, that's just how it is outside in the real world.
So you're giving an example of people being included not on the back of a DEI motivation. Hey, look, Mortal Kombat's good, and they included these characters not just to bolster representation or out of some moral duty. Okay. I don't think that's a problem with the, like, in the eyes of the anti-wokes.
For some reason, I'm not...
You're describing it as something they'd be fine with, mostly.
Surprised that it hasn't clicked for some of you. Then that brings us to their go-to argument. Oh, but video games are supposed to be an escape from reality.
Oh, he's saying it just became that way because it's like that in real life. This is even worse. This is Giga Cancer. Why is Akuma on screen? Giga Cancer. This weird, very new idea that art exists to tend towards reality. That art exists to show populations of people in ratios representative of the real world, or more specifically, the United States of America. What do you love about art? I love when the demographics are accurate to the place I live. Absolute cinema. What is wrong with you?
And that tells me everything I need to know about you as a person.
Hey, dog. Did you know you can have a video game with no people whatsoever, with no characters whatsoever? How does that happen? That's crazy. That's not how the world works. There are people in the world. How does that happen?
That's why, just like in 30 years ago, like in real life, we got black men and black women, white men and white women, Asian men and Asian women. We got robots and reptilians.
This fucking ugly ass kid, man. I'm just like, this nigga looks crazy, bro.
I see they gender bent Cyrax and Sector, and also Molina's in a relationship with Tanya in Mortal Kombat 1. Who cares? I'm more concerned on how these characters are written, as well as chaos reign.
That's an element of how they're written. You can like or dislike a choice of a character's sexuality.
In Mortal Kombat as a whole, and I have to say I'm not really the biggest fan. Me personally, I just want Cyrax from Mortal Kombat 9 back, just because his design was cool as fuck. But I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
Having the character, like a character's sexuality, is a writing choice. Gay people will complain about that shit all the time.
There ain't no damn agenda niggas is forcing by including gay people in video games, stupid ass boy. Nobody's...
I mean, they say there is. They literally say there is. And argue that you must do it for moral reasons.
Forcing you to be gay through a video game. Maybe you just are. What's funny is just how many people are already calling GTA 6 woke, and we literally have one trailer and nothing else. GTA, according to these people, has always been everything that y'all accuse other games of. There was a mission in GTA 4, for example, where one of the side characters, Bernie, was walking in the park and he got assaulted by some guy with the baseball bats. And as Nico Bellic, you had to chase... The game literally said, chase the homophobic guy down. This is from a game that came out in 2008. That's just one example of GTA going out of their way to do stuff like that before it started to get more...
Can this man not see the difference between that and character design in Concord?
Normalize. And I have no doubt that GTA 6 will do similar things, and I also have no doubt that I will not give a damn. GTA 4 also had a DLC called The Ballad of Gay Tony, and they had you play as a Dominican named Luis. I'm not biased or anything, but in my opinion, we should be playing more Dominicans in games. I think they are really good people from a cool country.
Okay.
Just don't ask them how they feel about Haitians. This is just one of the current reasons why I'm so confused on the current gaming discourse. Y'all know what's the worst part about this? Half y'all people are not even real. Y'all lack the backbone to say what the fuck y'all be saying behind that screen to somebody's face. You could never fathom the thought of saying half the shit you say online to somebody in their face.
So, this smacks of, try saying you think black people are violent in real life, I'll kill you. But also, in what real life context are you likely to be talking to another human being about demographics of video game characters? If you find yourself saying this stuff in person, something's gone horribly wrong. Like,
you can never fathom the thought of physical intimacy with another being that has feelings for you. You can never fathom the thought of looking at cashier direct.
Talking about this with a romantic interest?
In their eyes and ordering a Big Mac with a side of fries, nigga. Y'all do not say this hateful, racist, misogynistic shit in real life. Y'all lack the backbone. Anyways, I really just don't like that side of the internet. I feel like some of y'all have not been outside since the pandemic and y'all forgot what real people look like. No, not every man and woman looks like Nathan Drake or Joel Miller. I place lots of value on constructive criticism, and I'm a firm believer that nothing is exempt from it. But I'm also a firm believer that not all criticism is good criticism. And a lot of you people have no business.
Wow, deep think.
Business criticizing anything, because I be seeing the shit that y'all criticize games for. Somebody was mad you couldn't buy pizza in Spider-Man 2. Nigga, you're Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man needs pizza. I can't imagine getting upset that someone is upset that you can't buy pizza in Spider-Man. My man wants to buy pizza in Spider-Man. Put it in. Just do it.
Go be Spider-Man. Spider-Man broke ass wouldn't be buying pizza anyway. AAA gaming.
Fact check false.
These past couple of years has sucked for gamers and also the people.
He certainly would be delivering pizza
behind these games for so many reasons. What with the constant layoffs, fear of missing out, the constant remasters and remakes, and the greedy ass practices. But the loudest people are the loudest people always be saying the dumb shit, bro. And that should just be killing me.
I'm gonna tell you something real. Turkish people need to be stopped from making pizza because frozen supermarket pizza is so much better than all the like pizza takeaways around here that are just, like Turkish guys who like they make a good kebab. Okay? You get a pizza from them. They put the toppings under the cheese. What's going on? What's going on?
Galactic receiving this much amount of
stop it.
Hate before even seeing gameplay is the craziest shit to me. But it's also like a good part of why I wanted to make this video. I don't know how I feel about the bald look, but I love that actor to death. I think she's gorgeous in real life and I love.
Did he just do a WPC stutter?
Seeing gameplay is the craziest shit to me. But it's also like a good part of why I wanted to make this video. I don't know how I feel about the bald look, but I love that actor to death. I think she's gorgeous in real life and I loved her role. Than you. Not that I'm playing games to beat my shit to anyway. I love the aesthetic this game is set up for itself, and I hope it turns out to be a fantastic experience above all else. I know
suddenly he understands surface level aesthetic value. And if it's enough for him to become invested in a game, why isn't it fair for it to be enough for someone to have no interest and to dislike a game?
Last of Us 2 definitely had its
suddenly he understands
flaws, and I understand people not being a fan of the way that game was written. But me personally, despite some of the narrative choices I had issues with, I had a blast playing it and watching people play it. The only thing about that Intergalactic trailer I didn't like, I'm sorry, I just don't like the brand placements. The last time I seen Adidas in a video game,
You mean like 90% of what it was?
It was on the worst Spider-Man suit.
I love the aesthetic of Intergalactic. I just don't like the brand placement. I don't think you have eyes, brother. I don't...
I've ever seen in my 31 years of living. And then they had the nerve to lock you into that suit at the finale, and then sew clothes that resemble that fucking car crash in real life. I will never forgive Adidas for that unless they sponsor me. My DMs are open. My DMs are open, and I'm not.
The products are the brands even displayed on the products are a massive element in why it comes off the way it does.
Love shilling for the worst sneakers y'all have ever seen in your life. I know that Adidas.
If you just like, I don't know, the spaceship interior, Alien Isolation is gonna blow your mind way more than that.
When he go crazy and these bills not gonna pay themselves. I'm not gonna lie, the Porsche spaceship looks really cool though.
Okay, there we go.
Anyways, I spent a lot of this video.
I love the whip.
Mad as fuck, and I'm sorry about that. If you've watched all the way up to this point, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed
You're
the
welcome.
video.
No. I didn't, but you're welcome. I didn't enjoy it, but you're welcome. What we have here. Stop comparing streaming to 9 to 5. It's very brave. Street Fighter doesn't make sense. Ranking the Animal Kingdom. You ask, I answer. Most worthless assassin. Okay. Alright. Someone's overboard on the Linus Media Group ship. It's been suggested to me. I don't know if this is going to be in any way dramatic, or if it is literally just someone who left because they have something new they want to do. But the suggestion of it makes me think there might be something to it, so we're going to have a peep. Linus, Tech Tips, commenting and happy. What do we have here? Why I joined LMG, difficulty mentioned call. Well, I'm not an expert. What? No, this person can't have a video segment called What I Really Am. Please, I don't want to get banned.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the most important thing I have to say right now. If there's nothing else you take away from this video, then please take my gratitude. You, the people who followed me through my days at Linus Media Group, and you, the people who found me only afterwards.
All right.
Or even you, the people who have no idea who the heck I am.
I'm still thanked. I'm still relevant. What else do you do? Are you like a mini tech person? A poorly shot reintroduction. Posts. Happy holidays. It's been a while since my coming out video. Is this the coming out video?
Where's Anthony been lately? I'm still here. I'm still at LMG.
No.
Right now I'm vacationing. I'm visiting family. But things have been weird for a little while. Let me explain, and you'll have to forgive me for using a teleprompter here, because I...
Teleprompter. Alright, hang on. I need to do something real quick. Want to see a cool trick? Hang on. I can never remember in this how you just search for anything on a channel. Like, it always wants me to include text. I just want to see all this person's fucking videos. Irritating. Oh, there we go. Never mind. I saw the link. I found the link. They do not appear to have any unlisted videos. Okay.
Just, I want to get everything right here. It's going to be a lot. See, I try not to push my views too hard on social media. Linus might not see it this way, but I feel that fundamentally, this platform that I have isn't mine. I didn't earn it. I feel like I owe it almost entirely to my association with Linus.
Well, it's not yours. It's owned by Google.
Media Group.
It is Google's.
And that's not something I take lightly. This time is different. This time it is about me, and
This time it's gay shit, so I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
it will affect Linus Media Group too. I am transgender.
No.
My name is Emily. For over 13 years, I've been in the closet, and I've got memories from
Damn, is that where the Oreos were as well?
as early as 25 years ago, as puberty began. The signs were there all along. After trying to ignore it for so long, I finally started taking hormones a little over a year ago. My intent
is okay. We're 3 years deep on the hormones. I don't know. I don't think it's working.
was to hide it for as long as possible, like maybe even forever if I could get away with it. I don't feel ready yet, but I can't hide forever. As a semi-public figure, I don't have the luxury of doing this quietly like so many people hope to do, so here we are.
Here we are.
Everyone at Linus Media Group has been incredibly supportive, and the company is behind me 100%. For that, I couldn't be more grateful. It's just amazing.
Okay, you started hormones a year ago. When did you start the SSRIs?
But even so, I've made the decision to step back from hosting videos, at least until we know how this whole thing is going to go. Though I don't know when I'll actually be comfortable again in front of the camera. I just don't want to put a target on LMG or anyone else close to me because, well, it's just become a political firestorm. Like, look at the response.
Mindstorm. Green Needle.
To Chris Tyson when they came out.
Oh no.
Political firestorm.
Oh
like, look
no.
at the response to Chris Tyson when they came out.
Worst pick.
That terrifies me. Like, it's just... I don't intend for anything to change or for anyone to treat me differently, though I know many will, for better or worse. And all I've ever truly wanted was a chance to be myself, and I've worn so many masks during my life that I'm still not sure who that is. Persistent depression and anxiety have been with me for as long
And what treatment have you had for those?
as I can remember, with precious little relief through medication and therapy.
Told you.
When I felt it start to come back a couple years ago, it was...
There's a raid? By whomst? I don't know how to check this YouTube shit. Thank you for the raid, whoever it is. Oh, it's Cope and Sneed. Hello. It should... Look, I have a bunch of like default notifications and stuff that should be popping off. The YouTube stuff doesn't seem to be fully implemented. I apologize. I was not ignoring you on purpose. Thank you. Hello and welcome.
Clear what the common thread was, and I had to finally take action. My worries about what might happen if I did suddenly got outweighed by my worries of what might happen if I did not.
I mean, we're years on, and I don't know what's changed.
My past support for trans people might seem self-serving now, so let me be clear. I fully support anyone and everyone as long as they're true to themselves and aren't harming others. And I hope for a world where people don't have to suffer for years or decades.
You're never gonna be Miss Universe. Stop with this speech.
Decades even.
Stop it.
Either not knowing what they're feeling or why, or because they're terrified of what might happen if they open up. I'm at that part of my journey now, and I guess we'll all get to see how it ends for me. I'm going to go back to my vacation now, so I'm going to log out of all my socials until I get back to the office.
Is it a staycation at home?
I'll see you all on the other side.
The little is very annoying as well. Horrendous. I agree. I can't handle it. Speaking of vacations, I'm going to Japan at the end of the year, but we're also gonna go somewhere else before then. What do you guys recommend? We were thinking about Lake District, little mini Lake District vacation, maybe? There's a garden up in Scotland, I think, that's just full of poison shit. But there's nothing else around it, so it doesn't seem worth visiting. But it's cool. There's the Garden of Poison that has all the poisonous plants. I don't know. Alright, so that's this person. This is who they are.
Or, hate my guts for one reason or another. Thank you all. It's because of you.
I was asking, I saw a video of someone earlier. Yeah, is Ethan Klein Ozemping? Does anyone know? I saw a picture of him recently.
That I reached the heights that I did. And it's because of you that I'm here in front of the camera again. If you just want to know what that means for this channel, head to this timestamp. But
no, I want to know
if you want to know more about what I mean, well, when I first started this career in content creation, I didn't have any grand ambitions. I didn't expect to ever be on camera. I didn't expect certain people to like me even if I was, and I certainly didn't expect to have fans.
I don't like it.
My biggest goal was to make content that made people as excited about tech as I am. And I was willing to move cross-country to reach the largest audience I could.
Whoa!
I wanted to share the knowledge that I've gained throughout the years and, well, hopefully, to help people through darker times, the way that YouTube helped me through mine a decade ago.
Deranged. I think being saved by YouTube is bad.
Honestly,
I want there to be an endless cycle of vulnerable people becoming dependent on YouTube and YouTube personalities. Yeah, I bet you do.
First thing that went through my mind
Fuck me.
when I left LMG, the first thing that I cried about was the realization that I might not be able to do that anymore. The whole reason
I might not have access to mentally ill people on the internet anymore. Linus, please. Please.
I came here in the first place. The thing is, before leaving, I could still do that, even without being on camera. When I came out as trans in 2023, I kind of expected that to be the end of my on-camera appearances. And, for the most part, it was. And I was fine with that. I stuck with writing because, even if I didn't host, I was still making the content. It's me! I was still able to work on cool things and, share them with the class. That was all that mattered to me.
All right, but now...
Being on camera was never the goal. It was never the point. But even now, I get so many mentions and messages.
My menchies.
Asking when I'll be back on camera. I get notes from people saying that they look up to me. That they miss me.
This is unhealthy. May I suggest that this is actually unhealthy?
Somewhere along the line, I started to realize that far from the negative response that I had expected, people legitimately wanted to see me. So...
even in your terror at being abused for being trans, you expected a 50% like to dislike ratio.
That leaves me with a strange question.
I feel like that could be analyzed more deeply.
Question that I honestly wasn't comfortable with answering. At what point does being...
with how much hatred there is of trans individuals, I expected only half of the world to like me. Is insanely American, if I may.
The center of attention go from the heights of hubris to the less selfish option. The funny thing about hubris is that you often won't realize that you have it until it's clear that you're not quite as good as you think you are.
Oh, God.
Well, maybe it's the same in reverse. I've personally followed the...
Hubris can creep up on you, but you know what? I think I have the opposite problem. I'm a god and I refuse to recognize it.
Kruger curve on several topics, including PC repair, and, I've consistently been shown that there's still far more to learn than I knew. There's always something more to learn. It's why I know there's plenty more for me to learn about myself, and, well, far more to learn about being in the public eye, like I was at LMG. And now that I'm putting myself out there again...
We have a new bet. If this person refers to themselves as a curvy diva before the end of the video, I will jump out of the loft window.
It's also why I won't ever claim to be an expert at anything. Not even my favorite video games. Like, can I play that on Maniac? No. Like, sure, part of it's a self-esteem thing. Yeah, but I also don't ever want to return to a position where I think I know everything and, just get arrogant about it. What I'd much rather do is learn more and share what I've learned. Take Apple products, for example. Like, up until 2011 or 2012, I hated them on principle. I thought Macs were stupid. I thought iPods were an overpriced knockoff of existing tech that everyone thought was Apple.
My personality advanced to the point where I can finally consume more product and get excited for future product.
Apple's invention. For some reason, even the word podcast annoyed me because we already had words for that. But what I hated was also what I didn't understand. What Apple brought to the table wasn't new and revolutionary. It didn't have to be. But rather, what it was tech that was packaged in a way that made it accessible to people who weren't, snorting lines of tech like I was. What I saw was a watering down of a passion of mine. And I hated that. A lot. But
if you think about it, I'm kind of like, I'm the iPod of women.
The thing is, where did that...
There's no need to be threatened.
...leave me in my tech career? I had no idea what to do when someone brought me a Mac to fix or set up. I looked like a complete idiot, and that's because I was. For as much as I thought I knew, there was always someone else who was way more advanced. Like computer repair, it wasn't until I was in a high school work placement that I even installed a CPU for the first time.
Okay, I get it, but like, what is the reason to listen to you then? I get it, you're not an expert. There's always someone better to go for. Are you funny? Tell me a joke.
Not for my first job till I built a computer from scratch for the first time. And Linux? Like when I was dabbling with Mandrake or whatever back in the day, at least one classmate of mine was already setting up servers
dabbling
and
with
networking like Red Hat. And later, a coworker was daily driving it, even back when Wine couldn't at all pull off the latest games.
Okay.
Sure, I was always the person that my friends and family turned to for tech help.
Windows emulator or something?
But I wasn't ever an expert. Like, if you've ever wondered how someone can put proficient with Microsoft Office on a resume and then turn out to have no idea how to do even mildly interesting things with formatting or formulas, like, that's kind of where I was at. And frankly...
Not an emulator? Okay, look, I'm not a techoid. Those of you in the chat who've injected estrogen can inform me what Wine is.
That's still where I'm at with Office? Like, over time, I slowly started to realize how little I really knew. In the years leading up to working at LMG, I had a lot of time to reevaluate that. For reasons I'm still grappling with and won't get into today, I tied a lot of my self-worth to my usefulness and expertise.
Right. Yeah.
And let me tell you, I suffered for that. Since then, I've gotten familiar enough with all of the above, basically, to be what I consider to be useful.
Useful.
And, I think that one of my real strengths has always been in taking complex things and breaking them down into simpler terms. I think that's probably where my reputation for being an expert comes from.
This is the most tepid shit of all time. For real. What they said in the previous video, that their proximity to LTT made them and gave them this platform, absolutely correct.
It's also why I don't want to claim to be an expert, because really, I'm not. What I am is an enthusiast with a drive to learn. I'm someone who wants to share a passion with the world. Someone who wants to show others the cool, shiny things that make their eyes light up and activates all the good neurons.
You're telling me this is going to be a Bad Dragon review channel?
Most of my knowledge comes from just casually reading and messing around with stuff, and it's the kind of thing I want to encourage people to do. So many people tell me that they could never do whatever it is that I do. It's too complicated.
I could never do to myself what you have done to yourself.
But the
100%.
reality
You're not wrong.
is, as much as people put me up on a pedestal as some tech deity, there's nothing special about me. I'm not a comp sci major. A+ is the highest certification that I have. And that's kinda tech's bottom floor. There's a whole host of stuff that I have absolutely no idea about, including stuff that those same people are good at.
Hello,
and here's the
Cameron.
thing, like, as far as I'm concerned, they can totally do what I do. And for that matter, you can totally do what I do. And I think
Okay, obsolete then. Next video, you shouldn't exist. No, I'll give...
that's
They might
what
say
I want
something
this
fun.
project to be about.
Monetization
I wanna
strategy is what's going to be interesting, I think.
spark wonder and excitement, and open the door so you can follow me down the rabbit holes I fall into. And hey, if you do, that's great. Welcome
Slide
to the
on
party.
into my hole.
If
viewer.
not, then
Dear
well, maybe you'll still get a kick out
Dear viewer, my holes are open to you.
of some of the things that I dig up, whether it's bleeding edge tech or retro time or something else entirely. I mean, I do think about the Roman Empire a lot, but
Does that count as a transphobic joke? Hold up.
it is important to remember that it is just me here. I don't have the support staff that I did at Linus Media Group.
Yeah.
I'm choosing my own topics, I'm writing my own scripts, I'm
Oh my
shooting my own
God.
videos, editing my own videos. and
Whoa!
half of those
Shit everyone has been doing on YouTube forever.
things are
So's WPC.
not something that I've got much experience with. I mean, heck, I've tried 3 times now to shoot this exact video because I kept messing up, like the lighting or the framing or even just the delivery. It's a huge learning process for me.
Had to throw away take number 1 because I was looking too hog-pilled.
And that's the reality that comes with going solo, to say nothing of things like
Gotta slam a solo! Is it cracker solo? Whatever, the Australian lemonade drink.
no longer having access to test equipment and the
I know, subtly slipping in that I no longer have access to testy equipment. Just the
certain income.
Casually dropping the orchiectomy?
That last part
Orchiotomy? Whatever, I don't know.
worries me the most, though. I've been exposed to a lot of camera work and editing at LMG, and I absorbed a fair chunk of it through osmosis. But
Another ignored raid? It doesn't tell me, bro! It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
that last part...
Orchiotomy? Oh no. We got echoing testicle removals. Well, if someone raided me, thank you, but you will not be acknowledged. Because I can't
The
see it.
business side, that's a black box to me. So here's how I think this is going to work.
Alright, it's money time.
You probably noticed this video is monetized. Why? Well, aside from being able to pay rent this month, which I definitely do want to do, I want to get a feel for how feasible it is for me to go without using things like mid-rolls that disrupt the flow of a video.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't.
I'm also looking to figure out
But I would simply add
if I can do all of this without sponsorship.
Golski, I'm too famous to acknowledge my raiders. Don't fucking talk about me like that. I'm too lazy to acknowledge the raiders. Thank you very fucking much.
Like, I mean, if sponsorships came my way, I might consider them, but I'd like to be very careful about who I sign with. I'd
Yo,
wanna
dilation app.
use my own voice rather than simply like parroting talking points, you know? Like VPN sponsorships, they're common on YouTube, but I'd like to actually educate people on how to use them And I need to have used...
I need to show you how you can get bathtub hormones using a VPN.
...the product or service before. I'm not going to say anything that I disagree with, and that's something that I'm going to take directly from LMG. But some channels don't have sponsorships. And if I can do this without...
This is a very roundabout way of saying, please give me money directly so that I'll feel more stable. Yeah, they're... Okay, yeah, alright.
Without them, I will. But the only way to do that is with direct support from, well, regular viewers out there like you. And that is a difficult topic for me.
Bro, you can't pull it off. I was going to say you're not a woman, but they obviously are. Okay? You can't do... It's not going to work without help from you. Direct support from you. Doesn't work when I do it. And they look nothing like me, so obviously it will for them.
Like, I wanted to establish myself on my own merits before taking people's money for basically just work that I did at LMG. For those of you who sent super thanks when I got monetization for the channel and accidentally retroactively enabled them, well, thank you.
Hey, by the way, here's how you can give it to me.
You have no idea how much that support means to me.
It means so much. Thank you for the money. I need money to live and buy cool things and do cool things. I love getting money. You don't have to, it means so much. My little trans heart is filled up with acceptance when you donate money to me. You're a good person and we have an emotional connection. Oh, thanks, I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good time with the channel.
Morally. But at the same time, people have also legitimately asked, do I have a Patreon that they can send money to support me? And I don't know. It's something that is just so completely out there.
It's a fucking scripted video. This is cancer. You know that you have a Patreon at the point of publishing this video.
Say Brav fed the streamer $2
Alright.
Superberry. Here's some money, Tim.
Thank you, Cybrav. I love you.
There for me because I don't see my own worth in the same way that a lot of people seem to. Kind of blows.
And now they're doing the absolute worst manipulative shit. Oh, I feel like I couldn't make a Patreon because I'm a less worthy human being. No! You're valid! You're valid! Let me give you money! Let me give you money! Oh, what a coincidence! You had to have made a Patreon before putting this video up. And you knew you were doing that when you published this video. So...
my mind. Here's the compromise. I can commit to only so much right now. So, I'm gonna launch a Patreon, so you can support me if you want, but think of it more like a tip jar.
Yes.
I can offer some of the standard stuff, like videos a day early, names in videos, a Discord server, maybe some behind-the-scenes stuff or updates on what I'm working on, but I can't really do much else for that right now. If that sounds good to you, though.
That's not the tip jar thing. The tip jar is like... That's my approach to it, and how I do things whenever I've given someone money online. It is... If I like the shit you've already done, I will throw you like a, hey, good job. I don't pay for future content. I only give money for things that have already happened.
You can find the link in the description. But please, don't feel like you need to.
As opposed to, you know, the salary perspective where it's like, when you sign on, you are pledging yourself to support me forever. And taking away that is taking away something you had to give to me. No. It's like if you sub and then you start hating my shit and not watching it,
£1.
then unsub.
To fill your little trans heart with acceptance.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm still going to be making the videos. And to start with, I'm aiming for a bi-weekly schedule to accommodate for, well, let's call it training. And I'm planning to start with useful tech tips and tech quickie style content to cut my editing teeth on.
Isn't there a tip jar site? Yeah, it's called Coffee, and they have a coffee as well. Does it show you? top supporters. Kevlar condom. I suppose that's the minimum strength of material you'd want to use with this individual. Right? So. Ava K? Ava Chris Tyson? I don't know.
Like, for example, did you know that Bluetooth audio doesn't have to suck on PC, or that it matters which USB ports you use, aside from just whether they're 3.0 or whatever? Or have you ever wondered why a 10,000 milliamp battery bank looks like this, but laptops only usually go up to like 2,800 milliamp hours? I'm also looking at documents and things that I've been having to learn over the past few months, and there'll probably be a project or two thrown in there too. Like, I had to get my workstation back up to date hardware-wise, and, well, I mean, it was like 2018 hardware. Not terrible, but not really up to snuff. And I can go into the decision.
Well, boys, I'm going to need a graphics card. Hey, I've got a... Wait, which one's better? A 2080 Super or a 2080 Ti? The Super is like the budget one, right? I don't know.
That I made during the process of acquiring...
I'm not a tech person.
New hardware. The problem is I still haven't built it yet. This is actually still my old workstation. I really need to get on that. But I just won't be able to do things like review AMD's upcoming Ryzen 9 9950X 3D or the NVIDIA 5000 series Blackwell GPUs that are basically launching now.
Bro, we're on 4080 now. I'm fine with my 2080 Ti, okay? It plays The Bazaar. It plays PoE 2. It's good enough.
Like, that doesn't mean...
I'll upgrade my computer when it dies. One day, I just won't show up to a stream, and then a week later I'll be like, sorry guys, I had to get a new PC.
That I don't have opinions on tech or anything, just to be clear, but, you know, anything that I say about next-gen CPUs or GPUs or whatever, that should be taken as the opinion.
And this isn't really a meme, because I'm always saving money. Nowadays... Now that I'm not giving someone 100% of my income, I do be saving money for, you know, holidays, and for when I need new PC stuff, and when I want to get my nice artisanal coffee.
Or not. As for a certain other elephant in the room, if you've seen the only other video on this channel, then you'd know that I'm transgender. Now, I don't intend to make the channel about...
Hold up. What did it say?
You'd know that I'm transgender.
Oh, I love my country. Gonna be real. I thought what was on screen said something mommy, which is why I went back.
Now, I don't intend to make the channel about that, don't worry, but I do hope that that puts me into a unique position of being an inviting figure for everyone of every persuasion. And, like, to that end, I'm not going to hide it, and I'm not going to hide my gay little screwdriver either. I just
That's the horrifying euphemism?
Get that out of the way, because while I am going to keep being who I am, I don't care to get into things like fan wars. I don't want to get into politics or drama YouTube or to be compared to other creators, like positively or negatively. I want to stand on my own. I want the community that sprouts up around my content to be open and accommodating without gatekeeping or unnecessary snark. At least that's how I feel today. And
are you 12 years old?
In some ways, it's how I've felt for years now. Like, I want to prove.
Damn, this person wants a hug box? Crazy.
That you can be successful without clickbait, without hot takes, without flashy spectacle, and hopefully without stupid YouTube thumbnail faces. I don't ever want to do another one of those. Like, no shade to the people who are playing the game. I get it. But I want to prove that the stuff that I like, the stuff that I'm interested in, people are just as interested in it as I am. After all, isn't that kind of what YouTube's supposed to be about? So, come and learn with me. Remove the blocks saying you can't do it. Open your mind and become an expert, like me, the way that I did. You'll be able to find me on YouTube, Blue Sky, Twitter, Threads, and Fediverse to start with. And I'll do my best to cross-post everything, so nobody's left out. And I guess that's it. That's everything I needed to say. I'm looking forward to getting back to it. In the meantime,
to eat.
Take care of yourselves, and, well...
Keep yourself safe. Keep yourself safe. I think I have one more thing I want to look at tonight. Sorry, sorry, Raiders, you might not know, I ration my content. I'm not much of a stretcher. I'm not much of a gaper. I just look at the thing, talk about the thing, and then move on. And that means I have to save stuff for other days. So I think this will be the last thing we peep at. This was published a while ago. It's by Innuendo Studios, and it is a crossover with the person who killed and wore the skin of ContraPoints. I presume, based on the way they present themselves. The alt-right playback. Playback? Jesus Christ. The alt-right playbook. Cross Philosophy Tube. Double wrong. Let's see what this is. This is a poor man's card posting dog whistle series. Right?
Say, for the sake of argument, you're having a discussion with a coworker about healthcare.
I'd rather die. Although, to be fair, I was a carer for like a year, 2 years, for people with spinal injuries. So in a sense, I'd be talking about healthcare, but not like... I presume this is going to be like healthcare insurance, who has a right to it, how should it work, so on and so forth.
Actually, let's go ahead and drop the pretense. You're having a discussion about trans healthcare. He says puberty blockers should be banned because some study said they're dangerous. And you're a thoughtful person, so you look it up. Only when you do, you find that
Danganronpa, puberty blockers.
The study
will it hurt child top of his head?
Doesn't say what he said it does.
Many such cases, to be fair. Many such cases. That age... Wait. Dim. My name's Bim. Oh, God. I'm aware of multiple Philosophy Tube clips people don't like. There's one where they're like, dysphoria isn't real, but that's a post-trans. What's this?
Alice Rose recently found out about LeftTube. Really enjoy your content. Came at a good time because I've recently been through a tough break lately over who I am. Oh, a tough breakup over who I am and a lot of gender dysphoria. Any advice? I don't have any advice on dealing with gender dysphoria. It's not something I've ever experienced.
They maintain that though. This didn't age poorly because since transing out, they have stated that they don't believe in gender dysphoria, right? I believe.
The breakups. I've been there. Time really does heal all wounds.
You better hope not. You better hope not, or that surgery is for nothing, bro. Anyway. Oh.
Maybe it says something close.
Yeah.
Maybe it says the total opposite.
Often occurs.
But more than that, you realize, even if it said what he said it did, that still wouldn't support his argument. Dangerous could mean a lot of things.
Oh,
a
my
little,
God.
A lot.
Let's just put kids in a little bit of danger.
Low risk, high risk. Maybe one study isn't enough to go on. Hell, maybe it's bogus for a whole host of other reasons. Maybe it's written by people with an obvious agenda.
Damn. What if, you not already being familiar with it, suggests you are almost in just as poor a position as they are to engage in this sort of discourse, and you probably shouldn't be fucking talking about this stuff with coworkers combatively. Just a bad idea.
Or contradicted by a better study he's ignoring. So you go back and tell your coworker, hey, the study doesn't say that, and even if it did, you know... But he simply repeats, the study said they're dangerous. He's not just wrong, He's double wrong. Institutions
Oh my God. This is Orwellian, bro.
create policy documents.
I'm saying bro too much. I should never have listened to that black guy. I think I have like a there are a bunch of words I want to say about myself that I can't. I have an African spirit. I have to be dangerous. Sorry, I have to be careful around black people. Because they say all sorts of things. And if they say it too much, I start saying it.
All the time. Anti-bullying policies, climate policies, DEI policies. Your job probably has a bunch of them. But a lot of the time, these documents exist not to be read or followed, just pointed to. If someone is bullied, harassed, or discriminated against, managers might point to a policy that says, "We are committed to not doing that." And that's it. The more you insist, hey, these policies aren't being followed, the problem still exists.
Is this a no, being a Karen is great, actually, video?
The more you become the problem.
This is a Karen video.
The document is a dummy argument, a substitute for the real one. There's a problem.
HR might try to stop you from putting cameras in the women's bathroom, but I think you'll find that their simple statement that it's unacceptable isn't an argument. And besides, you're trans, so you can do whatever you want at all times.
No, there isn't. This isn't a conversation about what some document says or doesn't say. It's a conversation about power. When your coworker cites a study that doesn't support his argument, he's using that document in a similar way. He's not reading it, just...
This is conspiracy theory time, bro.
Pointing to it. This piece of paper means you have to listen to...
Oh, Micronauts, thank you. Thank you for filling my heart. What is this?
Not even fucking video games, fucking...
EndNote 5. Don't worry, I'm good on innuendo. This one's fine. Thank you very, very much.
The study could be about plankton, or Henry VIII, or squirrel poop for all the difference it makes. Okay, maybe it matters a little. It has to at least look semi-legit at a glance. He's not using evidence to inform his position. He's decided what his position is, and he's pantomiming evidence to support it.
I have bad news about most human beings. I have bad news about, like, pretty much all people ever.
It's almost as if we've stumbled into the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Even when people have evidence that works for their position and is convincing and all that good stuff, most of the time that's just them being lucky.
Little Mickey's put on the hat and declared, "I know how this works. You stand up all big and tall and say, I have a study that says you have to do what I tell you. That's how you all..."
Sorry, was the coworker in this situation trying to stop you from giving a child puberty blockers directly?
Always play.
Was the trans person in the office actually planning on giving puberty blockers to a kid?
Well, this time I've got a study, so you have to do as I say. And you can tell him, that's not how this works, Mickey. It's a study, not an incantation. It has to actually say what you claim, and it has to be a good study. Oh, look at you, moving the goalposts. Look at you gatekeeping, deciding which studies count and which ones don't. Well, I believe this one's every bit as good as yours, and I believe it proves me right. And is that what he believes? Maybe. Maybe not. Remember, the card says moops. You can't prove he doesn't believe that. And for the purposes of you have to listen to me...
It really is an entry to the Innuendo Studios cinematic universe.
That's
Everyone's favorite
all he
came back.
needs. This is a battle of wills now, not information. Each half of the double wrong argument functioning as both Mott and Bailey. If you successfully expose that study as bogus, he'll move on to another.
You want to know something cool? There are people who will tell you you're wrong and then point to this video as why you're wrong. In fact, they'll say, actually, you're double wrong. Look at this video.
And you'll only be undermining the scientific method, in his view, if studies aren't always to be trusted. If even quack science can get peer-reviewed, who's to say your studies aren't as bogus as his?
Is this just people being all fucked up by arguing online and getting so mad at randoms saying dumb stuff online that they've formulated an entire, I guess, worldview to encompass their butthurt?
And that's if he doesn't change evidence entirely. Okay, maybe I can't.
People on Twitter will pretend they didn't say something they did, and then they'll take a contradictory position that would undermine their previous statement. They're just doing this online.
Prove puberty blockers are dangerous, but this study says trans kids have high regret rates. This one says they're unhappy. This one says they're brainwashed. He's understood the rhetorical function of science, but not the substance. Or perhaps he's understood the rhetorical function all too well, enough to know, for the purposes of argument, substance rarely matters.
True.
From here, you can chart the
and I would never, ever take advantage of that.
Course of the entire conversation, stretching out before you.
Philosophy
You
tube.
might rush in, hold the document under his nose and say, "Look, it doesn't say what you said it does. What's the matter? Can't read?"
I like to imagine this person in an office hallucinating their co-worker as a 4chan user.
Which might be satisfying, but does make you look the pedantic asshole. Or you can reject his so-called evidence as patently false, inadmissible, and leave yourself vulnerable to being obliterated the moment you make an honest mistake with a citation. Or you can research every single shred of information he puts in front of you so you can...
There are people, like, just in the shower fantasizing about winning an argument with a coworker. This is sad.
Thoroughly debunk each and every one, which means he simply keeps putting bunk in front of you and drowns you with homework. And he must see it too, the conversation laid out in front of him. He hasn't positioned himself to persuade you, but to ensure neither of you ever persuades the other. What is the purpose of this debate then? This ritual? What is it you're really arguing about? Well, your coworker believes that the government, or a doctor doing what the government tells them, should force citizens from a minority to do something with their bodies they don't want to do.
Ooh, you want to talk about rhetoric? Not swallowing a chemical as something you don't want to do with your body is already questionable framing, dog.
But he won't say that out loud, because he knows that's socially unacceptable. I want the...
No, that framing sounds bad. Yeah, why would he use a bizarro framing? Right? Why would someone say, let's say you're faced with the idea, like, let's say there's like a religious group that wants to cut out the kids, half of every child's liver. You could describe that in the same way, and it would sound bad to say don't do that. Fucking idiot. You're pretending to understand rhetoric.
Government to force people to do what I want with their bodies, no matter how many of them die in the process, is an opinion that isn't likely to...
I would take that position regarding cutting off children's heads. No matter how many kids die as a result of not cutting off their heads, I think none should be allowed to. No cephaloectomies.
Make friends. So he substitutes the document for the thing he really believes. It's not me, it's just science. He is...
That's not really what's happening, though. No, that's not what's happening at all. He's suggesting it's a scenario where it shouldn't be allowed because it's bad. He's countering the suggestion, the argument that it should be done because it's good. He's saying, no, it's bad. He would only say, I want the government to force people to do what I want with their bodies, no matter how many of them die in the process, if he believed it was like life-saving care. This is deranged. This is deranged. This is propaganda. This is like really blatant, horrendous, poorly done propaganda.
Appealing to facts when, truthfully, this is a difference in values. Double wrong is a rhetorical technique to catch you out.
No, what you just did is...
to hide the real argument from you and leave you chasing the substitute.
No, the real argument is it shouldn't be done because it's harmful. He disagrees fundamentally that it's necessary healthcare. That's the argument. That is the argument. What the fuck?
It also protects him. People deploy these kinds of irrational paradoxes.
The actual argument isn't the government should force children to die. That's his actual position. No, his actual position and argument is it's not life-saving care. It's dangerous for kids.
Moves to stop themselves thinking about topics that make them uncomfortable. If your co-worker interrogated his values about the proper relation...
Like the right-wing version of this video is... they'll point to how many women will die if you don't allow abortions, but actually, their position that they're pretending they don't have is, they love murdering babies. Now, they wouldn't say, I love murdering babies, because that would sound bad, but that's their real argument. It's a rhetorical trick that they don't say that.
Relationship between the government and minorities, he might find he's not the person he thought he was, or that his friends and colleagues expect him to be. And you might too. Let's not pretend leftists and liberals...
Children who might medically require puberty blockers aren't a minority, though. As in, it's not just trans kids. Just, if we want to be really precise and nitpicky, okay?
Have the moral high ground all the time. Interrogating your fundamental values is an uncomfortable experience for most people. He probably wants to think of himself as a...
For instance, kids who would go through a precocious... I believe it's called a precocious puberty, where it's super early, so they delay it.
Good person. And yet, he also believes, maybe not even consciously, that the government should own the bodies of at least some citizens.
Does Philosophy Tube genuinely not understand that what they're doing right now is an example of, dishonest rhetoric? The position isn't the government should own your body. The government should take actions to protect general public health. It's the idea that the government should step in to stop people from being mutilated and tortured inappropriately versus getting health care. His character... The government should stop human experimentation, torture, and mutilation. Right? What he classes as that is different to what you class it as that. And I don't think you'd... Maybe this person will be okay. Like, is this person okay? Like, if kids want to have their heads cut off? If a kid wants to just get katanaed in the neck? Head off. That's the government owning their body. If they say no.
He knows he'd probably hate that if it happened to him, but he still wants it to happen to others.
Do people genuinely fucking fall for this video? You'd hate it if the government owns your body. If the government owned your body, that would be terrible. But you still don't think babies should be allowed to have sex. That's the government having too much control over their body. You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it. No, fucking stupid. It's called equivocation, what's occurring here. The thing that is control over your body, for this guy, is being used to allow you to imagine him being stopped from doing any given thing. Controlling a child's body is... Rather, controlling a child's body even though we're talking about control of a body here, is referring to something where there's disagreement on whether or not it's just a child being abused and harmed.
Double wrong relieves him of the burden of forming a
What the government owns your body means is different when referring to the guy and when referring to a child.
Rational position. The document is his nice, big safety blanket. This plays on a human weakness that spans the entire political spectrum.
I didn't realize how bad this would be.
We all wrap ourselves snug in faulty information from time to time. We share studies without reading because the abstract conforms to our assumptions. We treat a supposition that is likely as though it's a proven fact, and this is, after a point, necessary. As informed as you are, you do have to stop researching somewhere. You do, at some point, have to go on assumptions, take someone's word, trust that a pattern holds, because the video's due before the end of the month if you want to charge your patrons and make rent. Sorry. But we do sometimes treat research as a ritual rather than a method, because often we want to appeal to facts, papers, authorities, without having to do any of that pesky reasoning.
Hey, ironically, given that they referred to Martin Bailey, we've gone from not wanting harm to come from a child due to procedures and medication you believe is actually harmful and unnecessary, is the government controlling your body, and people are just using studies to try and win a game of power to control children, to, hey, we all kind of fall into this trap. We all fall victim to confirmation bias. That's all this video really is. You know, people fall victim to confirmation bias.
But that is exactly
That's
what
all they
leaves
said.
us open to a double wrong attack. The flaw with your co-worker's study is he's using it to claim trans healthcare is dangerous. And he's wrong. He has a comeback for every way you could try to convince him.
I like that this video's source for why he's wrong is the text and he's wrong popping up on screen.
But he's still wrong. You can't prove trans healthcare is safe by gesturing at studies, because the opposition won't read them, and will write their own studies. You can't prove it with peer review.
Oh, fuck.
Because they'll game peer review. You can't call them liars because they'll insist they're sincere.
This video is the case for accepting giving kids puberty blockers is good and healthy as an axiom.
There is no rule they can't pervert, no system they can't twist to their advantage. You can't just appeal to things that signify reason. At some point, one of you will have to do some actual reasoning to figure out who's making sense. And, well, it's not going to be them. Remember, this is a conversation about values.
I think there's more truth in that than this person would want to admit. It reaches into the matter of the facts and what you would accept as a fact.
Assuming you know what yours are, you may have to speak them aloud. I think people should do what they like with their bodies without politicians interfering.
Nice. Child rape it is. Let's go.
And even if I thought puberty blockers were dangerous, which by the way they're not, because on the off chance you actually care about evidence, here's all the good stuff, I think people have the right to make risky decisions about their healthcare too.
Children should be allowed to get giant fake tits. Would be supported by this, for instance. Just so you know. Philosophy Tube, do you know how much this statement backs up? Did you think about it?
If there was a
You're responsible for the logical outcome of your statements, right? If you say a set of values and you suggest that that's all encompassing of your position, and a logical outcome of following your reasoning is certain things like kids will be allowed to get boob jobs, you've stated you support that.
drug with a 1% chance of healing your terminal cancer and a 99% chance of dangerous side effects, I'd support your right to take it if you wanted.
Note that your example went to... The example to back up their claim that people should be able to do... And remember, children, in this example. Children should be allowed to do anything they feel like with their body, even if it's dangerous for them. The hypothetical scenario they gave is someone who is going to die anyway taking a drug that might stop that from happening. And they're pretending to be brave.
Now you've avoided the trap of arguing about what some document says. You're focusing...
You're gonna look fucking crazy if you say this to someone.
...on the second...
If you say this to me, I'm going to press them on this. This is... Dude, people are going to get giga-raped. If people take this advice and start saying, I think kids should be able to do anything they want with their body, even if it's dangerous. Hey, this guy's a pedophile. Say that again. Say it again. Child rapist would be my...
and deeper part of the double wrong instead of the first.
You might get killed. If you take this advice, you might literally get killed in real life. Don't say what Abigail is telling you to say.
On the back foot. Now he has to justify his values, which is exactly what he wanted to avoid.
Jabraji has become a member.
Of course.
They will never support puberty blockers because of kids' feelings. Proof we need a ultimate solution today. Chudden question.
Chudden?
Of course, he may just repeat himself. The study says they're dangerous. This is not a technique for winning arguments.
It's a technique for getting lynched because you just said anything is on the table to do to a child because you think they have full bodily autonomy no matter what. And the government should never get between a child and what they say they want. That's full pedo, bro. What are you doing?
It's a technique for starting them.
Thank you, Abby, for doing this video with me. Everybody watching, if you're not already subscribed to PhilosophyTube, I highly recommend checking it out. Abby is a wonderful person, gives great hugs, and her videos have honestly gotten me through some tough times. Outside the world of video essays, Abby is in Star Wars and House of the Dragon and Baldur's Gate 3, and this short film, Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend, which she wrote, and which uses
kind of fucked up that they put this person in a game called Balding Gay 3.
Vampirism as a very potent metaphor. I'm not going to spoil what for. And this play, The Prince, which she also wrote and stars in, playing Hotspur from Henry IV as a trans character. And she's in this feature-length audio drama, Faithless, set in the Sojourn universe. It's all amazing, and I'm really happy to have her name on a project with me. I'm assuming you know where to find Star Wars and House of the Dragon, but Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend and The Prince and Faithless are only on Nebula. Right. So if you don't have a subscription to Nebula, I can actually hook you up. Nebula is a streaming service founded and populated by people like Abby and me, and if you watch people like us...
I'm out.
Its landscape is very curated to your tastes. All my videos get posted there early and ad-free, and the same is true of hundreds and hundreds of other cool people's videos. If you're trying to picture it, imagine if Hulu had a baby with TV tropes and they read it manufacturing consent as a bedtime story. And if a service where people who say shit like that are running the roost, pooling resources to do things we couldn't do on our own, some of it silly and some of it beautiful, and that probably no one else would give funding to. If all that sounds good to you,
no, I'm good.
There's a link in the down there part for 40% off.
I'm really
on
good.
An
I'm really
subscription.
okay.
That's
I'm
$36 for a year, aka
unbelievably
$3
okay.
a month.
I'm fine.
And using my link.
But if you want to get this, use their code.
To get that discount helps supplement my income, which has been a lifesaver in the past couple years. Also, now subscribers can give guest passes to friends. So if you, like me, are still behind on some holiday presents, or you have any Capricorn birthdays coming up, you can give the gift of Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend et al. And a ton of other goodies. Take it easy, friends.
Take it easy. It's going to be over tonight, folks. I hope you had a fun time with me. Hope you had a good time. It's going to be over tonight, though. We will have more tomorrow, but I have to ration my cringe and suffering. I have to ration it. Maybe tomorrow we'll watch a video about why gay cruising is good for public health. That is, going around and places and having anonymous sex. I think it's like dogging. It's like dogging, right? Anyway, we'll check that out tomorrow, probably. Until then, though, thanks for the viewership, companionship, incredible generosity. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the puberty blockers bite.